We have video, guys.
It's a miracle.
We got it together, and we finally kind of, at least we got new software.
We hope the audio works because we have been noticing only one mic has been working.
So now we took the time to learn dual audio inputs
Jack did
and
anyway.
video. So we're learning.
We're getting there. Yeah.
We're stumbling and failing forward.
Yeah.
To use kind of corporate speak.
Yeah.
Um,
Episode 8.
Episode 8, Team Canada.
Team Canada will
This
be
is
coming later.
this is gonna be a fun one, I think.
This is going to be an action-packed episode. We got lots to talk about, folks.
Lot to go through.
Lots to go through.
Let's dive in.
All right. So only 2 games this week,
Yeah.
but a lot of storylines, even though there's only 2 games. Now, the hits, we'll get into the hits, but let's just talk about the games before we
Okay.
talk about the hits.
Okay.
So Edmonton on Saturday night. Still no Austin Matthews.
Austin's in Germany.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I believe he's back now, actually.
Get some Draisaitl juice.
Yeah, maybe a little bit Russian gas out there. But McDavid did play. He was back a couple games before.
He had a couple chances, but nothing
He
starstruck.
scored one. It was kind of a dusty goal. He got one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
And then he had that rush in overtime,
yeah.
which ended up being the turnover of the game-ending turnover.
Did he?
I think it was that.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was so long ago. There's
We
so much has happened
see
since then.
in the spirit of failing forward, I'm gonna start taking game notes live so that I don't forget maybe as much.
Yeah. Probably a good idea.
But it's nice to beat Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah, the first little bit of the game wasn't terrific.
No.
It wasn't terrible. We were down, 2? It was 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little third period comeback.
Third period action.
So let me refresh my memory. So Henrique and McMahon scored in the first. It was pretty, couple minutes apart.
Right.
First was kind of even. McDavid scored that goal in the second.
And then who?
Oh, no, it was 2-1. It was 2-1.
Was it just 2-1?
It was only 2-1, I remember now. And Nyes got that goal.
Right.
Nyes tied the game, and then McMahon, like a minute later, gave us the lead, and then we were trying to hang on at the end, and Draisaitl scored.
Draisaitl scored. They pulled the goalie.
Yeah.
Right.
And then OT, 40 seconds in, Mitch Marner buries.
Yeah.
And we get the hell out of there. I'm trying to remember which goal it was, but there was a goal in that game. The back check from Evan Bouchard was absolutely pathetic.
It was back to back on him. It was the back check.
It was the same shift, yeah.
And then it was
the Nyes McMahon.
Someone tried to clear it, and then it hit his knee. I think that was the Nyes
goals
one.
were within a minute of each other, so it had to be those two.
It was Bouchard both times.
Yeah.
Rough
goal for him.
That's a tough.
He's had a tough season, a really tough season.
Edmonton overall is kind of like lackluster.
I mean, Bouchard scored a very nice goal. I believe it was last night, either last night or Tuesday night. But yeah, the boys got it done. They came back, didn't play particularly great in the first 2 periods, came alive in the third. I don't really have much. I didn't think in terms of the major storyline was the hit, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice seeing them continue to put up
Marner
good games without Matthews.
Yeah, I'll give credit's due. Marner's playing really well.
Marner's kind of showing that
Marner's playing
it's
really
a contract year and he's doing well.
Yeah. Which is never regular season point scoring has never been an issue with Marner. We know that. We're not going to dive into the Marner stuff, but he's playing well right now. And at Matthews' absence, as is Nylander, as is Tavares, the big boys are stepping up. Nyes is playing well. McMahon had a good week. Hopefully
McMahon's
that continues.
Getting a little momentum, it seems like.
Hopefully it continues. Edmonton's big guns. Honestly, if you can shut those 2 guys down this year, it's pretty much.
That's nice.
You're good to go because the rest of their team,
what's left,
is not looking terrific. whatsoever. But we're not here to talk about Edmonton. We're here to talk about the Leafs. I know Edmonton's your favorite team, but
it's enough out of you.
Yeah,
Vegas.
Vegas was a fun one. Vegas was fun to watch.
It got chippy.
For two
teams, a physical game.
For two teams that don't play in the same conference, it was an extremely chippy game.
Yeah.
Extremely chippy
right from the first period, too.
Yep, right away. Fraser Minton, congratulations. First NHL goal.
First NHL goal to Minton.
Good for you.
And then you had...
And then Nylander was buzzing around. Was it the third? He scored. And he was just kind of all over the place. He was dominating the play.
Yeah.
And then, again, power play goal. Nylander power play goal assisted by Marner and Tavares.
You had this Russian who got called up too. Who absolutely was it Theodore he laid into? Where he put
from behind. Yeah, he put
Theodore's head into the boards. Yeah. He got a dent in his forehead, and I think he lost a tooth on that one too.
Was. This is in my notes here. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Back check, Minton,
paycheck. Yeah, back check, forecheck. Yeah, we saw that. Minton and Grebenkin got the call-ups because of injuries, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid win.
Yep, good win.
Against a decent team.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear the actual quotes, but I guess Eichel and someone else were complimenting the Leafs structure and physicality.
Hasn't been an issue. It's been good.
It's nice. They won a cup.
Wall had a nice night.
Yeah, Wool had a really good game.
Yeah, I thought Aiden Hill actually played really well tonight. I haven't seen much of Vegas, but I know he struggled this year.
I thought he played okay.
I mean,
he's still letting 3 goals.
Yeah, but I thought he made some big saves that kept Vegas in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
A lot longer than what they should have been, honestly. Yeah. It's good to see. You want performances like that against, I know Edmonton struggled a little bit, but Edmonton and Vegas are widely considered two of the better teams in the West. The past 2 Western Conference champions.
Yep.
And we took care of business.
And a Stanley Cup winner in Vegas.
Yep.
I know it's not the same Vegas, but it's still
it's still a very good team.
Some of those core guys are still there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the fun stuff of those 2 games, we talked about the physicality, and the Vegas game was bonkers. Yeah. Physicality wise.
Yeah.
Back and forth after the whistle, you got Tavares wrestling guys down to the ice. Let's start with the Edmonton game.
Okay. Darnell Nurse.
So we touched on the Tanner Jeannot hit on Brock Besser last week.
Yeah.
And Jeannot got a 3-game suspension. Now, if you're tuning into this, I'm going to assume that you've seen this hit by Ryan Reeves on Darnell Nurse.
That are your friends and family.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that you've seen it. If you're a Leafs fan,
it was a fly on a windshield getting absolutely annihilated.
There's a lot of blood.
Yeah, when they watching it live, when they clipped in, you saw the blood on his visor. You're like, oh, geez.
The angle, the camera angle literally just goes into the corner as this happens. And he absolutely blows him up, and it looks horrible from that angle.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Because it's pretty... It's a bad hit.
Yeah.
It is.
Listen. I watched the Jeannot hit, and I watched the Reeves hit. The length of suspension that Ryan Reeves got, I understand it's based on reputation.
It's what, 5 games he got?
He got 5 games. Reeves got 5 games.
Jeannot got 3.
I understand it's a reputation. And I don't necessarily disagree when it's boneheaded stuff that can be avoided. But when it's a hockey play that doesn't go the right way, I think you have to take the individual incident into account.
It's also a question of recency in terms of you haven't had a really dirty hit like this.
It's dwindled.
In a very long time,
post lockout, it was such a big topic because it was still fresh and people were still doing it because they weren't used to not doing it yet. Mm-hmm. But as time has gone on, you've seen less and less of it.
Like, when was the last time we really had an issue with Revo? Not as a Maple Leaf.
Yeah, not in Toronto. No, definitely not.
And so it's like, okay, this is a bit of a one-off instance. He's been pretty good. Even in terms of like the fights, it's not like he's out there just annihilating. He's a physical guy. He has a role on the team to be a fourth line grinder, to play physical.
Has he even fought this year? I don't. Maybe
Maybe
once. Like, yeah.
Jinx.
Anyway, point being, if you watch the Ryan Reeves hit and you watch the Tanner Jeannot hit,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, the Ryan Reeves hit looks terrible because there's blood coming out of Nurse.
It's on the head.
I get that. Okay.
It was a headshot. It was
100%. It's a headshot.
inarguable.
But in the Reeves situation, Darnell Nurse comes around the net. He has no other pressure other than Reeves. There's no other pressure.
Staring at the puck.
His head is down.
Staring at the puck.
He's staring at the puck, rounding his own net. His head is down.
You're in what, midget hockey when you get introduced to hitting in Canada?
Yeah, I think it's probably
Pee-wee?
older now.
Rule number 1.
Yeah.
Welcome to the biggest change of that season.
Yeah.
You do not have the option.
You can't do that.
To skate with your head down.
You cannot skate with your head down.
Sorry, but like that's just
okay.
That's playing smart and
now,
protecting yourself because you are responsible for taking a hit.
Granted, I do agree with that, but Reeves has a responsibility not to hit him on the head. I understand
You can't
that.
kill a
and
guy.
it's hard to do in real time.
At the end of the day, these are grown men with families.
Yeah.
You want them to be okay.
Yeah.
There is an aspect to, can I absolutely obliterate this guy and is my team gonna, get hyped up? Are the fans gonna like it? Maybe in the instance you're kind of thinking that, it's your job as being a professional hockey player, understanding you're not here to potentially. We don't need a Bertuzzi. The Todd Bertuzzi ruined a guy's life.
Yeah.
With head injuries and potentially spinal injuries and neck, you don't want to take chances. I'm sorry, Revo. You had to lighten up there a little bit. You either had to take a different angle or lighten up or stick check first and just shove him over. I don't know. But you can't take his head off.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. We're going to compare it to the Jeannot hit now. That got 2 less games, okay?
Yeah.
If you watch the hit. Nurse comes around the net. Nurse has his head down. He's not prepared. Reeves doesn't leave his feet, and he leads with the shoulder. It's shoulder on head. That's not good. But he doesn't throw a chicken wing out there and tosses an elbow to the head. Okay? And I don't believe that Reeves went in with the intention of doing that.
No, I think it was kind of a perfect storm.
Reeves is a physical player. That's his entire game, is being physical. He's going in and he wants to hit the guy, but the intent was not to injure the player.
No.
I believe. I know Nurse has gone out in the media. I believe it was today. He said that he thinks that Reeves
There's a lot of
was
body
going
to
in.
hit, and the only thing you hit was the head.
Yeah. I understand that.
You're pissed off about the injury. I'd be pissed off too.
100%. And that's not to say that when we say Nurse had his head down, blah, 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 that Reeves shouldn't be held accountable, but you have to pick your head up. Especially you're rounding your own net. You don't have any other pressure except for that one player. Your head's got to be up. But anyway, compare it to Jeannot. If you watch the Jeannot hit, Besser has already passed the puck.
Gone.
Well gone. Like 2 seconds gone. He has his head up, and he's upright in the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing upright, and his head is up. May not be looking specifically at Jeannot, but his head is up. And Jeannot comes in way late, comes up with a shoulder. It's not chicken wing, but he comes up with a shoulder. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And hits him directly in the head.
You can't blindside someone much better than you blindside.
The Reeves hit is going to look horrible. Reeves is a big guy. Nurse is a big guy.
Yep.
There's blood all over. The Jeannot hit was worse than that.
And even
there was more intent in the Jeannot hit than there was in the Reeves hit.
In terms of maliciousness, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you saw it live and you're like, shit, there's a head injury. Oh, there's blood. And then you panned away once the scrum kind of starts and you see Darnell try and get up and he's just gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's not at the arena. Gone. So it just looks real bad in terms of the consequences.
I believe if you're going to base it off of reputation If Ryan Reeves is going to get suspended for more games because of his reputation, in this instance, Janot's hit was worse. So whatever you want to do, it should be the same amount of games.
I
Because the
I
Janot hit is worse, but Reeves has the reputation.
I tend to agree.
Okay?
Yeah.
NHL, we need some consistency. That's what we're asking for here.
No one's saying they're not suspension worthy.
The 100% they are.
No one's saying they're not dirty
100% they are.
hits.
But you want some consistency, and I get you're punishing a player that has a history of doing this.
Intent is a big deal.
Exactly.
Intent is a very big deal.
Janot goes out of his way, open ice, the puck is long gone, the guy isn't bent over, his head is up, and he still goes in. And Besser's going to be out a lot longer than what Nurse is going to be out.
Mm-hmm. Nurse is already back in the media.
Yeah, Nurse, I believe they said 5 to 10 days. Besser is going to be weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my thought
Keep going now.
on the Reeves hit compared to the Janot hit. We go to Vegas last night, Wednesday night, and we're going to talk about the White Cloud hit on Knies, okay?
And this was previous in the game. There was another one where there was a hit on I think it might have been the Russian hit.
Yeah, Gurbenkin hit Theodore from behind. It didn't look great.
And then the White Cloud one came after.
Yeah, it was the next period. So, okay. Now again, we have to have players keep their head up, especially in the neutral zone. Knies has his head down in the neutral zone. I understand that. And when you look at the contact, first point of contact is probably just barely body, just before head.
Chest into head.
Just barely, okay? But the shoulder still makes head contact. Not to mention that, yes, Knies should have his head up, but if you compare that to the Reeves hit, Nurse doesn't have any pressure. Knies has a guy next to him that isn't White Cloud. Knies is trying to round this player, and he's focusing on beating this player. That's not to say you shouldn't have his head up and you shouldn't be held responsible, somewhat responsible.
Yeah.
But it's a different situation.
The thing that rubs me a lot is, to me, he's jumping into it.
Yeah. So
I think that is inarguable, and I know some people are not of that opinion.
Yep.
He's jumping up into him. The only reason you're jumping is because you want to go up top.
His feet leave the ice.
And
there's head contact. It's in the NHL rule book, it's deemed an illegal hit.
And they clawed back the major for it.
It is 1,000% the least dirty out of the 3 hits we've talked about. 100% the least dirty.
Yeah.
But he leaves his feet. There's head contact. I know it's not the first contact, but it's still major contact to the head, which in the rule book, if you go read it, it says any contact to the head.
And I'm not saying he deserves a suspension, but for that not to be a major penalty,
it's got to be a penalty. It has to be a
minimum major penalty.
And I know there's a lot of players or former players or media members are saying, guys who didn't play, they don't understand, it's a clean hit. A lot of people are saying it's a clean hit. But Berube said it was a clean hit today. He actually said that. Okay, now, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But when Craig Berube played hockey, it was a very different world. It was an extremely different world.
Look at what he's asking the Toronto Maple Leafs to do. He enjoys a physical game, and so far it's kind of working. I get it.
And it's nowhere near what he played in. Nowhere near.
No.
Nowhere close.
But I still, that to me is still a penalty in today's NHL.
It's a penalty. I'm not saying we should go suspend White Cloud for as many games. It's nowhere near as bad as the other 2 hits.
And then it's
a penalty.
We ended up netting out to Vegas had a power play because
how did that happen?
Was it Tavares who?
It's because the scrum after. But how does
they called it roughing for 4-minute roughing?
Our guy gets hit in the head, and we have to kill a penalty after that because we responded
because it was a dirty fucking hit.
Yeah, that part was what rubbed me the most there.
How is that the net outcome of this situation?
Exactly.
If you're gonna do a 4-minute for roughing, then make it a major for the hit.
I would say
it at least has to zero out.
Yeah, it has to. That hit has to be a penalty, and if you're going to do suspension, I would say 1 game.
Yeah, and
I don't necessarily think you should.
I don't think it's suspension worthy.
I don't necessarily think you should, but if you were to do it, it's only 1 game.
Yeah. It was just wild to hear like the panel talk.
There's
And
tons of people who feel that way. I've been reading up on this, and so many people feel that way. Tons of Leafs fans feel that way, and I understand. He doesn't throw a chicken like we talked about chicken wing. He didn't throw a chicken wing.
no,
He does hit him in the body before he hits him in the head, just slightly, and Nyes' head is down, so he's slightly bent over. So it's just
yeah.
it's a shitty situation for White Cloud. He didn't go, again. He didn't go in with the intent to injure.
To me, it
It
did
was
feel
just
like a bit of a revenge hit.
it was high. It was a little high, and he leaves his feet. Okay, and people are out there saying, "Well, when he makes contact, his feet are on the ice." Yeah, maybe his feet are still barely on the ice, but while
He's in the act
he's
of
in the
moving
act of
upward,
coming up, right? Listen,
which you're only doing that
yeah,
to get to the head.
yeah, and people are gonna say, "Oh, you didn't play, you don't understand that." All these former players are saying, "You didn't play, you don't know, you're an idiot." That's just my opinion. That's just our opinion.
God
You're allowed to
forbid we
have
have
your
an
opinion.
opinion.
It's okay. It's gonna be okay, folks. All right. It's all good. You have your opinion, and it worked out for you in this case because the NHL agrees with you. I don't think it should be a suspension. I don't think it's a malicious hit, but he hits him in the head. There's head contact.
Drive engagement.
Nyes has concussion history too.
Tell us your thoughts. We want to hear
Nyes
them.
has concussion history. You want to protect your players.
Yeah, and he's young. He's young in his
Yeah,
career.
exactly. We don't
Like
want to see a guy have to retire because he's had. I don't know. I don't even know if he had one in college, but he's had what 2 concussions in two
when
years
and
in
you
the
want
NHL.
and you want to talk growing the game.
Yeah.
How many parents have taken their kids and how many NFL players have said, "My kids, I
Well,
will
there's
they will
tons
not
of
play
NFL players.
football."
Off the top of my head, I know Randall Cobb has said that my kids won't play football.
And so if you want to have a game where it is a physical, it is a contact sport, you still need to feel like, okay, well, if my kid plays this game and is really good and can play this at a high level,
Yeah,
he's still gonna be able to talk at
yeah,
40.
exactly.
Um, and so it's like you understand what you're getting into, but it doesn't mean that there's excuses for malicious plays.
Yeah, exactly. You still need to keep your head up, kids, especially in the neutral zone. In
I
open ice, keep your head up.
I got a Yeti over the weekend.
I know it's an absolute fucking boat.
Keeps ice cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Keeps ice
Yeah.
cold.
Definitely. All right. That's our thoughts on the hits.
Yeah.
That's our thoughts on the games.
So far, who's coming up? We have games
I believe we
Saturday
don't play till Sunday.
till Sunday.
Yeah, we do not play Saturday.
Because we played. I thought it was a 3-game week, and so far it's just been Wednesday.
No, we play Sunday. We play at home against Utah on Sunday,
Mm.
and then we play Wednesday in Florida before our next episode. Just the
I
two
mean,
before our
at the
next
time
episode.
at the time of recording, Leafs are top in the Atlantic.
They are
Leafs are number 1.
1 point. 1 point. Good for them. Good stuff. We like to see it.
Yeah,
Big matchup against Florida
that'll
on
be
Wednesday, and then
the
Tampa Saturday. So
back-to-back tough
following
teams.
Saturday, not this weekend.
Tough teams.
Yep. A couple more Leafs things. Some injury news. Calle Yarncroke had sports hernia surgery. He's out month to month. He's already been on a while. Clearly had a big setback.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets better soon.
He played what, 2 games?
He didn't play at all this year.
He didn't even get
He
in.
didn't. He didn't start the year. It was kind of he had a
I thought
setback.
he had returned for like a
No, he didn't
game.
come back. He didn't come
Oh,
back.
jeez.
The Minton and Grabenkin call-ups were because of Kampf and Domi. They've both been placed on IR.
Yep.
So I believe it's 3 games you would have to miss if you're on IR. So it sounds like Kampf and Domi are out short term. Minton. I've liked Minton a lot. He started the year last season with the big club and with the Leafs, and he impressed, especially in preseason. But there was some signs in regular season as well.
He's getting a shot now.
Do we think he should be with the Leafs full time?
At the moment, sure. As we've
Fully
got
healthy
some
roster.
injuries,
Fully healthy roster. Should Minton be in the
it's
lineup?
probably a little early.
I think he should be.
Who would you send down?
I don't. I Holmberg doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Didn't he? He scored in Vegas, did he not?
No,
He was in goal too.
no. Holmberg not score. Um, Minton as a 200-foot game, solid 200-foot game, and he can
He's how
show a little
old?
bit of offense. He's young, super young.
But so are
See,
a lot of guys.
yeah, but I'm impressed. I think his game translates to the NHL super early compared to other guys. Whereas guys like Easton Cohen, however you want to pronounce his last name, it's going to take a bit. He's too good for the OHL right now. Unfortunately, he has to play there. He's not old enough to play in the A, but he's not ready. You can see it in preseason. He's
Yeah,
not ready. He's
yeah.
got tons of talent,
You
tons of
saw you
upside.
saw it pretty blatantly in
Yeah,
preseason.
but he just wasn't ready. Minton is 20.
So give this mittens, carpe diem the
Yeah.
shit out of this opportunity
Yep.
that's been given to you, and that you've earned.
Yep.
So if you continue to produce, maybe there's an argument to be made for this.
I think he should be. I think he should be in the lineup. Even if you have to play him on a wing, you have too many centers going, which I don't
I,
think is an issue because if you're playing Domi at center, you're clearly have issues at center.
I mean, they were floating Mitch at center. Did Mitch play center
No, he
on?
did.
I
They
didn't think he
talked.
did.
They talked about it, but it was Tavares first line center,
Okay.
Holmberg was second line, Minton was third line, and Lorentz
Lawrence.
moved to fourth line center. Yeah, I just thought I'd kind of touch on that. I've been impressed with Minton whenever I've seen him play for the Leafs.
Okay. Give him a shot. Why not?
Yeah,
Test him out, and
yeah,
when guys are ready to come back, you have some decisions to make. There is nothing better than having too much depth
yeah,
and being able to call guys up and have them be ready.
exactly. All right, last point on the Leafs. Austin Matthews' kind of mysterious random trip to Germany
Went to the Germans.
for there's some doctor that he's comfortable with, probably when he played over in Switzerland.
Ich nie verstehen. Ich nicht verstehen. I don't understand. Took
No,
a I took an introduction to
yeah,
Germany
I don't know what you're saying.
in university. It's like I don't understand. Why is he
Okay,
going to Germany?
yeah,
He had some previous history with this doctor who, through passing, I have no idea if this is accurate, is a cardiologist of some
I
sort.
have no idea, no idea, no clue.
Um,
Didn't get any details on who the doctor is,
in
whatever.
Germany, it's not surgery though. It's more of
Yeah,
like
they said surgery wasn't an option, and they did say something about he could play
they said Sunday, right?
Sunday. They're saying most likely he'll be back when they go to Florida for the trip in Florida, Tampa.
Whether he plays in Florida or not.
Yeah, we'll see. So it doesn't sound like it was like I kind of saw that and I was like, okay, that's a little strange. You're going across the world for this.
Why Germany?
Yeah, why Germany? And like
There's some
there was a Leafs doctor with him, I believe, as well.
yeah, he was accompanied.
Yeah. So I don't know we don't know what the trip was about. Hopefully it helped. Hopefully he gets back soon
Yeah,
because we need
we could use him.
not only do we just need Austin Matthews in general, but we definitely need him right now because of all these injuries that are
Yeah.
popping up, right?
A,
Nyes, we don't know how long he's going to be out.
a lot of the league is injured right
Yeah,
now.
there's tons of
You've got
injuries
a
right now.
ton of
We're
injuries
going to
going
be getting
around.
to a lot of stuff around the league as well, and a lot of it is injury stuff. Yeah, so when I first saw that, when I first put it down as a note, I was like, this is very strange, but now it kind of turned into a nothing.
Yeah. Is it notable? Sure. Is it a story? Not
No,
really.
yeah, it hasn't really turned anything because
People go to
they're
the
basically saying he could play Sunday, and most likely he's back in Florida.
fantastic.
Great. Sounds good to me. That's all I got for the Leafs. Anything else?
Um, no, just credit to Wool. Wool played
Yeah,
really,
Wall
really
played
well.
well. Wall played well against
Um,
Vegas. Just a good team game, I thought, as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just nice seeing them play well
yeah.
with Matthews gone.
And then come back against Edmonton. Just let's play like that for 60, right?
Yeah,
Full 60.
yeah.
Marner keep putting the puck in the net.
Marner's having a really good season.
And we'll keep letting the Oilers be the team that lollygags on the back check like Bouchard and McDavid, right? All right.
What's next on the docket?
Next on the docket, the big news this week in the NHL.
Oh,
The Boston Bruins have fired head coach Jim Montgomery.
at this point, you gotta had to
It
know.
was getting bleak. Assistant coach Joe Sacco will take over as interim head coach. He coached the Avs like early McKinnon days, one of McKinnon's
Okay.
first couple seasons. It was a while ago, and he's been an assistant in Boston since then.
Is he anticipated to take over long-term head
Rumors
coaching?
are he's up for the job. That's the
Okay.
rumor. I would imagine he probably rides it out for the rest of the season as
Yeah.
interim
If
head
you
coach.
see,
I think that's what's going to happen. I think Jim Montgomery got the shaft. I think a lot of people
yeah,
will agree with that.
yeah, I
I
think so.
think the roster sucks. Don
Yeah,
Sweeney's the one that should be paying the price, but it's a lot easier to fire a coach than it is to fire players.
yeah.
He's kind of listen, he's gone through a rough spell, but this roster has way overachieved under him, and I get it. They haven't got it done in the playoffs, but like best regular season of all time. Yes, they lose in the first round. Things happen, right?
Things happen. It's
Last year they beat the Leafs in the first round. They lose to Florida in the second round. That's after Bergeron and Krejci left. They were still really good after their first two centers left.
yep.
Their roster is entirely dependent on two or three guys:
Pasta.
Pasta, Marchand, and McAvoy, and Swayman.
Yeah, you can't.
And Swayman's been terrible,
Yeah, and
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 McAvoy's been terrible.
yeah,
Pasta's been getting benched. Marchand isn't the player he used to be.
yeah. The whole situation in Boston
Yeah,
just it sucks.
yeah. It
And
sucks for them. It doesn't.
Montgomery's the head that they
Yeah,
needed a head to roll
yeah,
that they could stick on a pike,
yeah.
and Montgomery was
It
that
probably won't
guy.
take too long for Montgomery to find another job.
No, I think he'll
Yeah,
he'll find somewhere pretty quick.
yeah.
I don't know who's
Whether
looking, but
maybe he wants to wait until the end of the season. I don't know. I'd imagine
I'd imagine so.
guys will be getting fired elsewhere sometime in the near future, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I thought Montgomery held guys accountable. Like he held Pasta accountable a lot, and that's your $11 million player.
yeah. I didn't like necessarily. I don't know. It sucks when all of this responsibility falls on the head
Yeah,
coach when you have such little supporting
yeah.
cast.
I do among Boston people that I read online, and I have a couple people that I know that are Bruins fans.
You do?
Yep. There are, I think the consensus is that Montgomery did really well for the team, but there was a couple decisions that he has made in the playoffs the past few years that were kind of a little strange.
Like what?
The Swayman Olmark stuff at the beginning of the playoffs. Swayman played game one,
When they were
and
like
then he played
swapping?
really well, and then they swapped to Olmark, and they lost game two, and then went back to Swayman, and then he chopped and changed. Did he first? He was changing the goalies, and then he wasn't changing goalies, and he was changing the goalies again in the Florida series. It was kind of make up your mind here. But then the year before, it was he stuck with Olmark, and they're saying, well, he's not playing well. Get Swayman in there, and they waited until Game 7 to get Swayman in there, and it was too late, right?
Yeah.
So, and just like Pasta's had a Pasta had nothing but good things to say about him, but Pasta's had a lot of run-ins of him getting benched or called out in the media with Montgomery,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, if Pasta's saying it's he liked him. He pretty much said like, I feel bad. Like he was a really good coach and a really good person, and it sucks that somebody's head's got to roll. But
Although in hockey, you're really not going to find too many guys being like, that
no,
guy was horrible, get him out of
but
here.
if you look at when Berube left St. Louis, uh, Kyrou kind of had that thing. He was a little emotional, and the fans kind of weren't too happy with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, okay.
So like, if you don't like the coach, maybe you're not gonna not come out and say this guy's an asshole. But usually, if you don't like the coach, you're kind of keeping it very neutral, right?
Yeah, yeah, fair.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I don't want Boston to do well, but I do remember Joe Sacco. I think he's a solid coach.
I think it's every time you have a player like a Pasta,
Yeah.
it's like you don't want them to get pigeonholed because the team's just suffering so bad.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like that a little bit with Bedard and Celebrini. Like you have these guys who are phenomenal hockey players that is, I want to see a Pasternak who is just creating highlights. I enjoy watching that. At the end of the day, it's the game we love. It's hockey we love.
Yes and no. Not for the team he plays on.
Yeah, I get it.
Maybe for Team Czechia at
I
the Olympics next year. We'll like to see that, but not for Boston.
And so it's like I hope they kind of at least get a little bit more competitive because
Yeah,
the if you
yeah,
raise the standard of the
yeah.
game for everyone, then that just benefits the fans.
I just look at this roster; it doesn't
I
do
don't know how
much
they
for
put
me.
I don't know how they put much
Yeah.
together.
And
They're
Montgomery was able to, right? I know year one they still had Bergeron and Krejci, but even then, yes, two very good players, responsible, win face-offs, great defensively, but they were last season of their careers. They weren't
yeah,
young.
yeah,
They weren't lighting the world on fire offensively. Still two very good players, but for Boston to be the best team of all time in the regular season with that roster is pretty impressive,
yeah. I agree.
right? Like there was a couple Tampa Bay teams that got close
Any
that
idea
were completely loaded.
where do you see Montgomery going? Like who might be looking? Do you think?
Hot seat. I know Lalonde's big on the hot seat in Detroit. Burnett's big on the hot seat in Nashville, obviously.
Yeah.
But I am hearing that Trotz might want to stick it out with him a little bit and be a little patient.
Okay.
Anyone else
Just curious.
underachieving really? Buffalo and Ottawa just got
Um.
new coaches, so no. You have to wait and see. You have to wait and see what happens elsewhere.
Yeah.
I Detroit could be one possibility because
And I think he'd do okay in Detroit.
Eiserman doesn't have a lot of time here to figure it
No.
out. And if the Wings aren't in the playoff spot and they've decided to let Lalonde go, Montgomery has proven he can turn it around quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. That's all I got
Boston,
on.
I still don't like you.
Yeah, we still hate you.
We still don't.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We talked about this on last week's episode. It was that night that it happened. Connor McDavid reached 1,000 points on 1 week ago tonight, Thursday
Congratulations,
night.
Connor.
He is the fourth fastest NHLer to reach 1,000 points, and I believe it was 600 and something games.
You mentioned last time we saw each other, you had a stat.
I have a stat. We're gonna stick. Just let me find how many games McDavid did it in.
Because we were talking and we were kind of like, oh, this is going to be fun to talk about in the upcoming episode. And Drew was like, I have a stat. And so I
Yeah,
tried to guess it,
I
and
believe
I couldn't really, I don't think I got
pinpoint it.
close.
Pinpoint it. Somewhat, kind of. I believe it ended up being so he's played 662, but he's played a few games since then. I believe it was 659.
Okay.
So 659 games, get 1,000 points in 659 games is super impressive. There was a stat out there flying around about how Matthews is considered kind of generational, and for him to reach that mark, he would have to get like 300
Yeah.
points in the next like 80 something games, right? Which is never going to happen. And they're kind of comparing it to that. And so the three players that got to 1,000 points faster than McDavid. Everyone can guess the first two, Gretzky and Lemieux,
Yeah.
and then Mike Bossy was the third one. Now, this stat is wild.
Okay.
So McDavid is officially the fourth fastest to 1,000 points, but he's actually the fifth
Okay.
because of this stat. Don't disrespect Wayne Gretzky like you did a couple weeks ago, because I have a whole lot of ammo in my arsenal from this guy, and the stats just keep popping out.
Okay. Did Gretzky do it twice?
Gretzky is the first and second fastest player to score 1,000 points. It took him to go from 0 to 1,000 points. It took him 424 games, and to go from 1,001 to 2,000 points, it took him 433 games.
Wait, I'm sorry for anything I may have said that.
Less than 500
Wait, I'm
games
sorry.
twice. It took him 857
Oh my
games to get to
gosh.
2,000 points. That is
That's
fucked.
mind-boggling.
And for the people that say
That is cooking my
that
noodle.
he put in an era that was easier defensively, blah blah blah. Yes, I understand that the goaltending wasn't as good. There's a higher scoring era. But for context, nobody else comes close.
Yeah.
Nobody else. All these records you talk about, it was so easy, blah blah blah. But if it was so easy, then everyone then would have done it.
He's the only one
He's the
doing
only
it
one that's
like
done it.
that. And it just shows how far ahead he was.
He was miles ahead.
I can't believe it.
Miles ahead. Could you imagine if Gretzky grew up with the advantages kids have today.
Power skating
Like
classes, carbon fiber hockey sticks that weigh a gram,
Gretzky's IQ with like the speed of guys like McDavid and McKinnon, or like the hands of those guys
clean
with
eating.
a non-wooden stick, clean eating, and practice time not on the rink your dad built in the backyard.
Skates are probably, I
Yeah,
don't know, 10% the weight that they used to
yeah.
be.
And you can't take guys' heads off anymore like you could back then.
Oh,
Granted, you did have a lot
revo.
more protection back then, but
Yeah.
just
That's wild.
like less than 900 games to get 2,000 points.
That's an unbelievable
It's
stat.
just on. I can't believe that there's a human being. Like, there is no other athlete who's dominated one sport
Like
like Wayne
that.
Gretzky dominated hockey. There isn't.
Messi doesn't
Team
dominate.
sport,
Messi doesn't dominate soccer to the same way that
not to the same degree.
Gretzky dominates hockey.
There's nobody.
Maybe some obscure thing like darts.
Team sport, team sport. There's going to be individual sports because it's basically like guys like Michael Phelps, Usain
Sure,
Bolt,
sure.
guys like that, right? Simone Biles, people like that. But team sport,
Beauty of hockey.
I don't think there's anyone else.
Beauty of hockey.
Um, do you think McDavid? This is a topic that I've been hearing a lot. Do you think McDavid could reach 2,000 points? Gretzky's the only person that's ever had 2,000 points.
So we spoke about this
Yeah.
a little bit, and I think we're on the same page here where the answer with how McDavid plays seems to be probably not.
A lot of people are convinced that he can do it.
If he does, he's going to have to radically innovate his game and be as successful under how he's going to have to play when he's 35.
So this is his 10th year in the league, and he will be 28 in January. So
Okay. So
say he plays till he plays
another
another 10 years.
He's how old? He's 38.
He'll be 38. But he would have to continue the same pace of scoring that he's on,
And
and it was like 120 points a season or something.
with how he plays, I just don't know how you
It's not
sustain.
sustainable well into your 30s.
Once you're kind of past 32, 33,
Yeah.
you just start to slow down.
Obviously, McDavid won't be like most people. You still will be a very good skater,
Sure.
but
To have that jump, to have that
Yeah.
first step there where he has a first step, he is always ahead of the guy next to him.
exactly. I believe the only season that McDavid has less than 100 points. There's 2 seasons he's got less. So the COVID shortened season, he had less than he was 3 points shy, and then his rookie year, he only played 45 games. He had 48 points.
Because that was
He got hurt that year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So every other season, he's had at least 100 points.
I mean, what the hell?
I saw somewhere the average it came out to like 125, something like that.
If he can do it, it's impressive.
Yeah, if he can keep doing it, but can we see him able to sustain that kind of point production well into his 30s?
It seems like a stretch.
Yeah, I feel like it's a
He
stretch.
might get into like the 1800s.
Yeah.
You know, like he'll get close, but I just think that it's going to be really tough.
It'll be tough.
Unless he absolutely just continues to go off.
Yeah, because it's just the way he plays is so dependent on speed.
He's going to have to
and physical attributes.
If he wants to get close, he's going to have to overproduce in the front load of this next 1,000 points.
Like, put it in perspective. Crosby, not quite the same pace as McDavid scoring wise, but the closest to McDavid we've seen in a long time. And in this first however many seasons you want to put it. And he is 37.
Okay.
I believe, Crosby. Around that age.
Yeah.
Near the end of his career. And I believe he's close to 600 goals. And close to, there's a points mark he's close to. He does have, okay, he already beat 1,600 points. So he's past 1,600 points, and he's 1 goal away from 600. And this is the benchmark guy, right? Like
Sydney.
Yeah. Obviously, the scoring when he first came in wasn't as high as what it is now.
Yeah.
So McDavid has a little bit of an advantage there. But like we're talking about Crosby, 1,600 points in just under 1,300 games.
Just an unbelievable
So
player.
McDavid conceivably probably 1,800 if he continues his pace and he stays healthy.
I think 1,800 is feasible. To
Yeah,
get to 2,000 is just
you still have
it.
you still
If
have. He'll be 28 this year. You still have a good like 4 or 5 years of peak prime years.
yeah,
But after that, what's going to happen?
and that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
And this is staying
and staying
healthy
healthy. Yeah,
the entire time
yeah,
for the most part.
exactly. Which is a big like we'll be talking about Ovechkin in a bit. There's a big reason why Ovi has been able to probably eventually go into Gretzky
Yeah,
for the goal scoring record is because Ovi never been hurt,
not really.
never bad injuries.
No.
So we'll see. He could prove us wrong. I know you believed it at first, but then I kind of changed your mind a little bit.
As soon as we kind of went into like,
Yeah,
but how does he play?
yeah.
It's like,
Well into his 30s,
yeah,
if he can still do it,
if
but
he's
it's gonna be difficult.
that or he's gonna have to play
Yeah,
Yarmir Yager style.
yeah,
Go to 43.
yeah. Okay, that's all I got. Congrats to McDavid on 1,000 points.
Yeah, congrats, man.
It sucks that you pick and choose when you want to back check, but that's fine. Couple of other milestones. Andrei Vasilevsky got his 300th win. He is the fastest goalie in NHL history to 300 wins. I couldn't believe that. I was shocked at that.
And who was a previous record
I would
holder for
assume
that?
Brodeur. I believe it was.
Did we look this up? I thought we looked
I
this up.
I maybe I'm not sure. Let's
Because
see here.
I want to say I was surprised that it wasn't Brodeur.
Maybe it wasn't Brodeur.
Um, but unbelievable. Like to pull that off as a goalie, um, that many wins this quickly. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like he was on a great Tampa Bay team,
Oh, for sure.
but he was a core
Yeah.
of that
He
success.
was a major reason why they won, right?
Yeah.
So he had four oh no, you're right. It wasn't Martin Brodeur. It was Jacques Plante.
Yes.
61-year-old record,
Yes.
521 games it took him to get 300 wins. It took Vasilevsky 490, which is impressive.
Damn. Vasilevsky, unbelievable goalie. I mean,
And he's
kind
still
of.
kicking.
How old is he now?
He is 30. And for a
So
goalie, that's not young.
no, which is where it's like he should
Yeah.
probably start slowing down a little bit.
But that's young for sorry, I said that's not young. That's young for a goalie.
Is it?
Most goalies
I
aren't
thought goalies were like 25 through 32 is like prime
most
goalies
goalies don't even get into the league until they're 25, 26.
because there's too
And
many
that's like the
established
best
goalies.
ones. Because
I mean,
it's
look at Stolars, right?
exactly. We think about Wall, we talk about Wall being a prospect. Wall is like 24, and that's
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
Wall's like 24, 25. That's young for a goalie to be coming through that early.
Hmm.
It's not usual. And goalies usually take a look at tons of goalies that played well in their 30s, pushing 40. Fleury, for example, now. Brodeur played a long time. Luongo played a long time. Waugh played a long time. Lundqvist played a long time.
Lundqvist did.
Yeah,
Oh my God, the king.
yeah.
I love Lund. Oh,
So anyway,
what a head of hair.
yeah, just an absolute man rocket.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Okay, good for Vasilevsky.
Yeah, awesome stuff, man.
Quick one more milestone. Congrats to Eric Johnson. He plays 1,000th game in the NHL this
Nice.
past week. Good for
Yeah,
him. Just a solid guy. Just a solid defenseman.
yeah.
Just steady. And has
In
hung around in
in
the
a
league
good
a long
city.
time.
Good city right now.
Yeah, good for him. Okay. Let's get into Ovi.
Okay.
So Ovi scored a hat trick Sunday night against Vegas, and it was getting people excited.
Get the parade.
It was getting people excited. It was pretty saying
Get
this
the OV
record,
train ready.
the record is being broken this year. It's coming, right?
And then
Uh, unfortunately, what night was it? Washington played. So Sunday night they beat Vegas 5-2. Washington played against Utah in a back-to-back. So Monday night they played Utah, and I believe Ovi got hurt in that game. They said after the game, he actually scored one in that game as well. They said after the game it was going to be week to week. They just unveiled today he has a broken bone in his leg. it will be 4 to 6 weeks.
Which 4 to 6 weeks is like, it's not a
Seems
major break.
Yeah, it seems like it's not too much of a bad break. But
So
Ovi,
maybe
we talk about Ovi never being injured.
Yeah.
This is pretty much Ovi's first really bad injury.
This is kind of illustrating the point about McDavid
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
there's going to be a point where your body is
Yeah,
just, it
exactly.
doesn't care who you are
Yeah.
anymore.
Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah.
Even for guys like Ovi and Crosby, it's going to come eventually.
Hopefully, because it's like, it doesn't seem too crazy serious, he can pick back up where he left off, but you kind of wanted him to be able to
Do we think he can still get it this year?
4 to 6 weeks, so he's back. So the nice part is, okay, he's going in, so he'll get back.
So today's November 21st. So
He'll get back over
4,
Christmas,
5.
early January,
If he goes the full 6 weeks, it'll be in the new year.
and then you're heading
If he
into the
gets
Four
the 4
Nations,
weeks, it'll be about Christmas.
and then you're heading into Four Nations when?
Which you'll have Four Nations end of
Is that
February, so you'll have
is
a
that end
little
of February?
end of February, so you'll
So
have a little bit of a break.
come back for a couple games maybe, and then
Let's see if
have another break.
If 4 to 6 weeks puts him at beginning of January at the latest, which is pretty much like a full month and a half of hockey before the Four Nations face off.
Okay.
Then you have a couple weeks off, and then you get back into the thick of it.
I think it's a big ask.
Yeah,
He's still
it'll be
missing.
very tough to do this year.
He's still missing how many games in 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows what the actual count is, but we're into almost the end of December, and we're a quarter of the way into the season. So, and that's what? It's a little bit over 6 weeks. So, almost a quarter of the season.
Yeah.
Right?
Year and a month and a half.
Yeah. So, depending on how fast he comes back, right?
Maybe he has a quick turnaround.
Maybe he does what Matthews did. He goes to Russia instead and gets some treatment. Air quotes. Treatment. Because it's Russia.
Wish him well.
Yeah.
Wish him well.
And hopefully he comes back. I would have loved to see him break it this year. It looked pretty inevitable, but at this point, it's going to be tough to do this year. So you got half the season left.
How many does he have left?
And I believe he was
after the hat trick. It was like, holy.
He scored one Monday night too. So let's see what his count is at.
Come on, Ovi. I want him to get it this year so that I don't know. I'd feel like the pressure's off my back a little bit,
Off your back.
Well, if I'm in Ovi's shoes, which of course, I think we're comparable athletes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so it's like, I'd want that pressure off, so I just have fun during the game. Because right now you're still kind of working toward this thing that you want, that everyone wants you to get, and to get it this year, it's just like not having anything left to prove, not having anything that you still want to accomplish. You just enjoy playing the game as long as you want. You don't have to feel like you have to be here because you have to accomplish something still. You can just be here because you enjoy playing.
27 goals he needs.
Okay, so
in half a season, honestly, he could possibly do it.
You need to average a decent pace.
It would be hard. It'll be extremely difficult, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
At the minimum, I hope he does some real damage.
If he's playing like if he's been scoring, if he comes back and scores at the pace he's been scoring the past couple of weeks, he could do it. Granted, it's going to be a tough ask to come back from a broken leg, and score right away at that pace, right?
Yeah.
So Gretzky had 894. Ovi's at, I believe, 868 currently. Yeah, 868. So we'll see. We hope he can get close, but it's not looking too hopeful this year.
This doesn't help.
Yeah. Basically, it was kind of, people are expecting it was kind of going to be an Ovi tour. The next couple of years, Washington was going to be bad. It was all going to be about Ovi getting the record. But I think what's helping a lot is that Washington's a good team.
Washington's actually really good.
Washington's been a really good team. They've been beating good teams lately as well.
Yeah.
They beat the Leafs last week, right?
I want to say they beat Edmonton.
Come on. Are they
couple weeks
considered
ago.
a good team right now?
Okay. Okay.
Just saying. So yeah, so that probably helps out a lot. The team's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Vegas made a signing. Vegas have extended defenseman Braden McNabb to a 3-year, $10.95 million deal, which comes out to a 3.65 AAV.
It's not a bad
That's a
signing.
solid signing, decent
Yeah,
value.
it's good money.
And it keeps their that's very good decor intact.
Yeah.
And he's a very good stay-at-home defenseman.
Yep.
So good for them. Just quick shout out to that signing.
Good management.
Yep. Vegas doing the business. JT Miller has taken a leave of absence for personal reasons from the Canucks.
Indefinitely.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there. I know did he get benched the other night? I
Did he?
believe Talk had benched Miller the other night.
I don't know.
Or it was they were trying to score a goal and he didn't put him out there, and basically he said after the game, he wanted to put out the players that gave them the best chance of winning the game, and he didn't believe Miller was one of those guys. So something's going on there.
Which seems a little shocking.
Yeah, so obviously personal stuff. Who knows what's going on there? We wish him well.
Hope he's okay.
We hope he's good.
Hope his family's okay.
Yeah, and the Nucks have come out and supported him.
Good.
So come back. We hope he comes back in time. Well, we do and we don't hope he comes back in time for the Four Nations face-off, because we don't want him to help Team USA win. But
Yeah.
for the guy himself, we don't wish any ill will. We hope he is doing all right.
Yeah.
Okay, another one here. Jack Campbell has been cleared to return from the player assistance program and was immediately put on waivers by the Wings. He cleared waivers. He's now with Grand
Jack
Rapids.
Campbell was on the players' assistance program?
Yeah, he was on the player assistance program.
I had no idea.
You just forgot because I 100% told you this.
Jack Campbell.
Yeah,
Soupy.
At the beginning of the season, he got put on the player assistance program.
Hope he's well. Glad he's
back.
He's back.
He cleared waivers. Nobody picked him up. Obviously, the money aspect is probably no. It's a new deal. It's a different deal, right?
He was at what, 5.5?
Well,
something?
it was high.
It was high money.
I don't know what he's at now.
And he just got to Edmonton and just collapsed.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well. If Stuart Skinner's beating you out, then I don't know what to tell you there. But we love Soupy.
Yeah, I have such fond memories of him in Toronto.
Yeah,
he did really, really good.
I think it was just a little too much responsibility on him. He's been kind of a career backup, right?
It's why
it was a lot of
when he came into Toronto, everyone's like, okay, there's a backup, and then he played really well, and you were like, you're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. So Campbell only makes $775K.
So that's
obviously
deal,
that Edmonton deal expired.
Yeah.
It's a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Obviously wasn't two-way because he had to clear waivers to go down. But he's down. He's cleared waivers. Hopefully he does okay.
Yeah.
The Wings could use some goalie help. Actually, no, they don't anymore. Talbot's been unreal.
Yeah.
So, Husso's in the minors too. I think Detroit might want to take it easy on the goaltenders.
Yeah.
They have tons of vet goalies that aren't playing well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you need to pick one. But anyway, yeah, we hope Soupy's.
Because the Lions playing backup right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lion and Talbot are with the big club. And Husso cleared waivers, obviously, because who's going to want to pick that deal up? It's like
nobody.
4.75 or something.
Like, that's your starter.
Yeah. It should be. And nowhere near meeting expectations.
No.
Yeah, 4.75. It's the last year of his 3-year deal. So I'd imagine he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll be gone in free agency. Hopefully Campbell maybe does well, maybe plays his way to a decent deal somewhere else.
I hope he does well.
Yeah. It doesn't look like long term Detroit is going to be the team.
No.
Because Talbot's played well. I know Talbot's not young, but Talbot's played well, Lions played well. Who knows if Campbell proves himself, maybe
he can earn his way on somewhere.
You never know. Okay, elsewhere, Kasperi Kapanen, former Toronto Maple Leaf, has been claimed off of waivers by the Edmonton Oilers from the St. Louis Blues.
Okay, I secretly love Kasperi
I don't
Kapanen.
think it's a secret.
I have loved Kasperi Kapanen for so long.
It's definitely not a secret.
I'm so happy he's got a team and he's gonna be. I mean, Edmonton's a good team.
The
I think
speed.
he'll fit in.
Yeah.
They love to play fast paced. Great.
See, that's the thing. I saw something somewhere where it's Edmonton's usually near the fastest team in the league. They haven't been this year. They've been near the bottom actually.
So have
So,
they changed or have teams figured them out?
pardon?
Have they changed their play style then, or are teams playing
I
defensively better and they're being
well,
forced
I
slower?
think it's a lot of personnel changes.
Yeah. Well, Kasperi's gonna bring them the
Yeah.
hell
So
up,
it's gonna be one of
but
the
he loves to skate.
one of the guys that signed as an RFA from Edmonton to St. Louis. Dylan Holloway was one of the speedy guys up front for Edmonton previously, right?
And Kapanen was in Pittsburgh.
He was just in St. Louis, but he was in Pittsburgh before.
He
Yeah,
was in Pittsburgh to St. Louis, and
yeah,
now he's in Edmonton.
yeah.
Kasperi,
He's been all over the
buddy,
place.
I hope you find a home here. I hope you do really well.
Yeah. Just a little quick note, kind of the typical Edmonton signing there.
Yeah.
Kind of bring
Fits
him
into
in. It's a depth guy who doesn't make a lot of money,
fits in, maybe get some secondary scoring.
like a Connor Brown type almost. Yeah, Kapanen went to Pittsburgh from Toronto. He played 3 years in Pittsburgh. He played the last 2 seasons in St. Louis, and has played 10. He played 10 games for St. Louis this
And
year.
he has it. Since he left the Leafs, he really didn't do
Yeah,
well.
he didn't really do much for me in
No.
Toronto anyway.
No.
Just kind of
I've
the
just got some.
prototypical fast player.
I've
The
just got some
guys,
good memories of him.
the guys that skate super fast but don't have the hands to keep up with it. That's what makes McDavid, right? It's like
He's got both.
he's so fast, and there are guys who can skate that fast, but there's very few that can stick handle to keep up
While
with
skating
that,
that
right?
fast.
Yeah. Okay. There's even more injury news here. How about we start? Mark Stone's on IR again. It's just IR. It's not LTIR. So there's no cap shenanigans.
It's too early for
Yeah,
playoff
there's no
shenanigans.
cap
Put it that
shenanigans
way.
just quite yet. Hopefully Mark Stone's okay. Hope he gets back soon because we want him to be on Team Canada.
Yeah.
Today we just found out Freddie Anderson's out 2 months. He had knee surgery. So Freddie, we hope he get better soon. He's been really good this year.
Yeah. Of the limited time that he's been able to play, he's been really good.
Yeah. And then last, hopefully on the injury front, let me find the note I had here. So Mike Riley, he got stretchered off for that hit. Or no, was it the hit?
Mike Riley.
The Islanders.
Oh,
somebody got hit in the face with the puck, and then somebody else got hit. Anyway, Riley was being checked for a concussion, and they didn't. He was one of the guys that wasn't out long term for the Islanders. A bunch of the other guys were. They found out he has a heart condition. So
in the midst of these tests,
in the midst of finding through these concussion things. So it was kind of a blessing in
saving
disguise.
grace.
So it says, Islanders say Mike Riley will undergo a heart procedure that will keep him out for several months. Doctors uncovered the heart condition through tests stemming from a recent concussion, though it's not related. GM Lou Lamoriello called it a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So,
real life takes over, guys.
Tough news for Mike Riley, but good thing.
This could have saved his life.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he didn't get hurt, obviously you don't wish a concussion on players, but it may have saved his life, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You take the saving grace where you can. Like, bizarre world.
Yeah.
Life is weird.
Yeah. So I'd imagine he's probably done for the year.
Yeah.
So get well
It
soon.
sounds like it, at least.
They're saying several months. It's already November, almost December.
Yeah.
So several months pretty much means you're
and
done.
frankly, if you're the Islanders,
Yeah.
fuck you competing for.
And you take your time.
Yeah. You don't.
Yeah.
It's your life, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush back. There's no point rushing back.
You're gonna have a life after hockey.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he gets well and is okay to play at some point.
Yeah.
But for the time being,
let that be when you're ready, not when.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We wish him well. Okay. I think that's all I got on the injury stuff, all the depressing stuff. Saturday night, the game after Leafs Edmonton. Chicago was in Vancouver. It was Connor Bedard's first game in Vancouver. He is from BC.
Yep.
It was a big thing. Chicago's struggling.
Yeah.
Chicago's worse this year than they were last year.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall got healthy scratch the other night.
And he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah. Chicago is struggling. I believe I heard something somewhere. Since Bedard entered the league, he's the second worst face-off man in the NHL.
Is he that bad?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. There's a stat out there. So listen, when I watch Connor Bedard, I wouldn't think he would be a center. Like if you didn't know his position, you watched him play hockey, I wouldn't think he would be a center.
Winger?
I would assume he'd be a winger.
Small.
He's small. He's a goal scorer,
Good
which
skater.
most goal scorers are wingers.
Yeah.
Most natural goal scorers are wingers. There's a few outliers like Matthews, Draisaitl, guys like that. But
I could see Matthews as a winger.
yeah,
If
100%,
you said
100%.
Matthews was a winger, you'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But Matthews is still a big body, and he's good, solid defensively, right? Whereas Bedard, obviously, very early days. It's only his second year. He's super young, but he's not a big guy.
Yeah.
I think if he stays at center, he will struggle. It won't help him develop the way that Chicago needs him to. And not only that, because Chicago, like we talk about McDavid all the time, at least I do, talking about you need to play a certain way to win the cup. And Bedard needs to get there eventually, but at this point, he's too young.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't have said that. I didn't say that about McDavid when he first came to the NHL and Edmonton was dog shit, right?
Yeah.
Edmonton doesn't have scoring elsewhere. You want to get McDavid into positions to score goals and to put points up because you don't have any much help elsewhere. And that's what Chicago needs to do.
Yeah.
Chicago needs to put Bedard in positions to succeed. You have a ton of other guys in your roster that don't have anywhere near the talent that you can say, okay, you're the center, be responsible defensively, let this guy be creative, let this guy do the
Float
damage
around,
offensively.
find his own opportunities.
And I honestly don't think Bedard should ever play center. I don't think he should. I don't think he's a center.
Is it time to kind of like start playing around?
He played wing the other night.
Did he?
He did.
Who's centering then?
Let's see.
Dickinson?
I believe Foligno was kind of mentioned. Dickinson centered the first line.
Yeah.
Foligno was second line. Yeah. Hall's back in the lineup. He's
and then
third line.
Teravainen's in there on line one?
Teravainen's third line with Donato and Hall right now.
Okay.
So centers are Dickinson, Foligno, Donato, and Lucas Reichel. Listen, this roster does not have a lot of punch offensively.
No.
You need to get Bedard in situations where he can put some goals in the back of the net because the offense isn't coming from anywhere else. And you can worry about the 200-foot game further down the road when your team's contending, if your team ever does contend.
Which you hope they do.
Oh, you hope so. You hope so. The time being, it's looking a ways away.
Yeah. Goaltending situation there. Mrazek's getting lit up.
Yeah. Was Brossoit back yet? I know he was hurt to start the year.
I don't believe so.
I think he is.
It's still Soderblom.
They're beating Florida 2-1 right now.
Just to prove us wrong.
Yeah, just to prove us wrong.
Connor Bedard's probably got 2 goals playing center.
No, he's on the wing still. No points for Bedard yet. Yeah. Mrazek is leading the way, and he actually had a decent year last year considering. Obviously, they didn't get a lot of wins, but he didn't play poorly. Chicago is actually behind Nashville right now, which is pathetic. So Chicago's last place in the NHL right now.
Who you wouldn't have picked that? You would have said not good. You wouldn't have picked that.
I wouldn't have said they were last. It's probably not the worst thing in the world that they're in it for another lottery pick. Because, listen, I know they made some signings this offseason, kind of thinking like we have Bedard here, we kind of want to compete pretty quick. It's hard to rebuild. It's hard to retool. It's hard to rebuild in the NHL and all pro leagues, right?
Yeah.
Just because Crosby was able to do it so fast doesn't mean it's going to happen for everyone else.
No.
It's
Crosby,
very rarely going to
Crosby's a
happen.
once in every 3 generations guy.
Yeah. Like Crosby is like Mount Rushmore of hockey type guy, right? So even like McDavid, it took Edmonton a while to get good.
Yeah.
It took them a long time to get good.
They only made the deep run last year. That was their first ever deep run, if I recall, no?
No, they lost to Colorado in the conference final in 22, the year that Colorado won the cup.
Okay.
That was the other deep run. They've made the second round a few times, but the 2 deep runs.
What's a golden eye?
For who?
Who's guy in Washington that you're not really a fan of has actually picked it up the last 10 games. And his name has 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Just saying.
There's more than 3 syllables in Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I don't know, 3.
There's 3 names.
3 names?
Yeah. Do you know what a syllable is?
Okay, yeah.
Aren't you the smart one?
It's a bit of a stretch.
Well, compared to me, anyway.
Different strokes.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to derail you. I did derail you there.
Yeah, 12 points. He only has 1 goal.
Tonight?
No, 1 goal on the season. So maybe 2 now?
It'd be 2 now?
Yeah. Oh, he's real hot.
Hey, he's been getting points.
Yeah. Washington's winning, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chicago. I think it's you just tank for
2 years.
A good pick again.
I think you can tank for 2 years, to be honest.
Maybe not tank next year. You're still going to be bad, but I think you at some point, if you want to create a winning culture, you have to start getting better.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what, like, for example, you've seen Montreal do the past couple of years. Every year they've kind of gotten better. Obviously, they've stalled this year because progress isn't linear. There's going to be bad years in between, but kind of that idea.
Yeah. Good phrasing. Growth isn't linear?
You like that?
That was right, yeah. I like that a lot, actually. Okay.
Look at that vocabulary.
Well, yeah, that was a great analogy.
Holy shit, eh? It's not mine.
Metaphor?
I've heard it before. It's definitely not.
No, it's very applicable right now. Like, I'm just very impressed with the intuitiveness.
You like it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we were pumping the Jets tires for the whole season so far. They came back down to earth a little bit this past week. It was a tough trip to Florida. I believe they played Tampa first. And then Florida, I believe, was Saturday. Florida kicked the shit out of them. I believe it ended up being 5. I think you're right.
5-0.
Yeah. So Saturday.
And Hellebuck was in that, too.
Yep, Saturday 5-0 against Florida. And I believe it was Thursday 4-1 loss to Tampa. Now, they did play Florida last night, I believe. They were up when I last saw. Did they end up pulling it out? No, it was not last night. It was Tuesday night. Yes, the Jets won 6-3 against Florida.
Okay.
Tuesday night, so they kind of got a little bit of revenge, but it's just kind of goes to show they're not invincible.
They're not going to go undefeated.
It's not invincible. Now, the Jets only have 3 losses.
Still pretty damn
all
good.
Against the Atlantic. Florida, Tampa, and Toronto.
Really?
The 3 best teams in the Atlantic are the only teams to beat the Jets.
Let's go. Come on. Yep. That's in the Atlantic, guys.
Yep. Remember when you said Tampa was going to miss the playoffs?
Whoa. Who said that?
You.
What?
Yeah. What's worse, you having Tampa miss the playoffs or Nashville winning the cup?
I'm going to regret this so much.
Yeah.
I'm already regretting it so much.
You were backtracking last week.
In my heart of hearts, I thought they were going to be so good. And I don't know.
We talk about Nashville too much. Let's not get into it.
Okay. Get some momentum, Nashville.
Yeah.
Something.
They're not last. They're not last anymore. So, yeah, tough trip for Winnipeg, but Hellebuck kind of came back to his normal self. Do we think the Jets, because maybe we talk about Winnipeg for a little bit, the Jets have had regular season success, but it's the playoffs where they struggle. Yeah. Do we think, like, none of this matters?
Because they often play, who are they playing in the first round?
It's the Central, right? So you're playing Dallas, you're playing Colorado in the first round.
You're playing incredible teams.
Exactly.
Colorado's a heck of a first round opponent.
Yeah, exactly. And Colorado's coming.
Yeah.
Well, all these guys are getting back healthy. They're coming.
Yeah.
McKinnon's on a mission again this year. Leads the NHL points again. Makar's playing well. Rant is buzzing. Yeah. And now all these guys are getting back.
Thank gosh.
Colorado, look out. I know we've talked about it a lot. We've shit on Nashville a lot. let's try and stick on topic. Let's try to stay with Winnipeg here.
Okay.
Do we think this team, the way they're playing, will bring them success in the playoffs?
Depends. It depends.
Yeah.
Um,
That's basically Hellebuck.
the Leafs should have been in a Stanley Cup Finals if regular season success and goal scoring meant anything.
Yep.
It depends. Yeah, can you get past Dallas, Colorado?
Yeah,
You know that's what
tough.
you're gonna have to
It's
walk
tough.
into.
Honestly, the best thing Winnipeg could do is win the division, and then
Yeah.
hope that Colorado and Dallas are the two teams behind
middle
you,
teams.
and you play a wild card team.
Yeah.
And then you'll kick the can down the road and hopefully play one of those two teams in the next round. Right?
It'd be far easier to make
Yeah.
a deep cup run playing one of those teams, not two.
You only have to play one in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having to play two.
I think I think they could do really good. It's does this momentum sustain well into this long and make it to the playoffs? You
We'll
still
see.
think there's probably a bit of a regression to do.
Yeah, it's
Having this success
long way
rate
to
is
go.
just wild.
Yeah.
So Hellebuck, yeah, I think he can do it. I think that's a goal you can win a Stanley Cup with. It's going to come down to physicality and goal scoring.
Yep.
Is Scheifele going to keep up with this production?
But like you say that, but Hellebuck was brutal in the playoffs last year. He got lit up. Now, granted, Winnipeg didn't play well, but your Vezina caliber goalie, 2-time Vezina winner, possibly 3 after this year. You need better in the playoffs, right? Scheifele, yeah.
Kyle Connor, can Perfetti step up? Can he kind of mature into a nice playoff player?
Scheifele's kind of the knock on Scheifele has been defensive side of the game as a centerman, right?
Yep.
And Connor isn't really a typical playoff guy.
No, it's similar where he can score a lot of goals against like a couple bad teams and like sustain really high production when he can take advantage really easily. He'll still do some crazy stuff. Like he's still unbelievable goal scorer. Is he a playoff goal scorer who is a Nathan McKinnon? Absolutely not.
The one thing I will say that could help them in the playoffs is they have tons of depth.
Yeah.
Tons of depth up front, especially.
Nino Niederreiter.
Yeah.
Like
tons of depth,
he's
right?
Quieted down, but he had an unbelievable start to the season.
So hopefully the Jets, good for them. I hope they win the division. I hope they do.
I'd love to see him. I'd love if the Jets win the cup, I'll buy a hat. How about that?
There you go. I already got one, but now that we have video, you're gonna see my
broad selection of hats.
Tons of hats. Mostly hockey, but there's gonna be a few others.
We'll do a fashion show of all of your hockey memorabilia.
Well, I'll just wear a new one every week.
There you go.
Problem solved.
If we really take off, we can do IRL like room tours and just give them a full breakdown of your complete collection. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if you saw this. So I'm gonna try and find what game this was. So Sidney Crosby basically put the Penguins on his back the other night. They won in overtime again.
You mean again?
Not winning again, but putting them on his back again.
I'm staying hydrated.
They lost to Tampa the Tuesday night. Let's see here. They beat. Maybe it was the San Jose game. They won in a shootout against San Jose, and Crosby was buzzing around. I think it was that night. Anyway, whatever night it was, Crosby was dominating. I think it was in overtime. Maybe they ended up losing. Maybe it was the Wings game. I don't remember what game it was. But anyway, he was buzzing around. He was the best player on the ice, like always.
Mm-hmm.
The game ends. Pittsburgh wins the game. And they got the fucking 37-year-old old man. He leads by example. He does the dirty work when he shouldn't be having to do the dirty work. And these guys can't even open the fucking door on the bench to let the guy out to go to the locker room after the game. It's an absolute disgrace. This organization is a disgrace right now.
I don't know what to tell you.
Like, open the gate for the fucking old man. Show some respect for one of the greatest players our sport has ever seen.
Who's letting you play alongside him? Because if he wanted you gone, he could.
Exactly.
You don't have to be on this team.
Honestly, if you're on his line right now, you probably aren't going to be at the end of the season.
Yep.
Because Pittsburgh's going to clean house.
You're welcome for making you look so good.
Yeah.
Because you would not be looking this good if Sidney Crosby was not on your line.
Like, just show some fucking respect.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest of all time.
Like, come on.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
And that just shows culture.
You know what I did forget? I did forget something in the Edmonton game about the Reeves hit, not specifically about the hit.
Okay.
This is more so about Edmonton than Toronto.
Mm,
What the fuck
I
are
know
they
where you're going.
doing after the hit?
I know where you're
They
going.
didn't even react.
Yeah. No response.
That team ain't winning the cup.
Not if that's what you're
That's your response when your guy gets blown up like
one
that?
of your star defensemen. I think he's an assistant captain, is he not?
You get blown up like that.
Lit up.
It could be the fucking guy who gets healthy scratched every other night.
Call it shoots.
Your
Because he just got lit up.
Your teammate gets hit like that and it's a dirty hit. I don't care if it's Ryan Reeves. I'm not telling you to go fight Ryan Reeves. Put a body on him. Do something.
Face wash him. Do something. No
You
one's saying
cannot
go
let
get your
guys
head
get
crushed.
away with that.
No.
You cannot do that.
The Leafs, for the longest time, until we got someone like Reeves, let that happen.
You can't do that.
And you could smell the fear of, oh no, who's gonna go do something?
Yeah.
It's not. Oh, I can't.
Even
do it.
like you saw at the Vegas game, like Tavares is getting in the mix.
Yeah. Wrestling guys, face washing, all that.
Like it's the Leafs have kind of Riley, like as Riley's gotten older, Riley's really gets in the mix with the scrums after the whistle and stuff like that, right? So
because there is an element of leadership to that.
Yeah.
There's an element of we're gonna stick up for one another.
Exactly.
And that's what it boils down to.
It's just like hockey is such a you need a team to win.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to pull all 20 whatever guys, 23, 24 guys on your roster, you want to pull them with you into the playoffs and have them buy in, and maybe they only play one game, but that one game could be the difference.
You think anyone's gonna deal with Mr. Kachuk
Exactly
in the playoffs?
Yeah, exactly.
You do. He's gonna run your goalie. Yeah. He's gonna tap your skates. He's gonna play dirty because he's good at it. He's very good at teetering that line of, I'm an annoying little pest who's going to get on your nerves, and what are you going to do about it? Because I don't mind doing that.
Exactly. That is why Edmonton won't win the cup unless they change. That's just a piss poor reaction.
I don't want to believe it, but I agree.
It's a piss poor reaction. I don't want to get too much into it, but just like the Crosby stuff reminded me of that.
Yeah, it was a good thing to point
out. But yeah, show some fucking respect to Sid. All right?
He's not the kid. He's Sid the goat.
Okay. So Evgeny Kuznetsov, who now plays in Russia, did you see his goal the other day?
No.
Oh my god. It's a Michigan goal, but it's not behind the net. He does a Michigan in front of the net and chucks it in the net. It's absolutely wild. You have to go find it and watch it. It is crazy. Evgeny Kuznetsov does a Michigan in the slot. Like, it's not like behind the net, wrapper around the goal. It is literally throw the puck in the net.
Okay. He did it from the front. Kuznetsov, Sportsnet. Let's see.
And then the set patented Selly afterwards, of course. Just wild.
What the hell? Oh, and then the Fly Eagles fly.
And then the Selly. And then the Selly after.
I love it.
Yeah. Go watch it, folks. Kuznetsov.
That's nasty.
In Russia. What a goal.
I have no idea what the commentators are saying.
Yeah.
That's cool as a cucumber.
Okay, a couple more hockey things.
Okay.
Have you seen the new Winter Classic jerseys?
No.
They released them yesterday.
Who's playing this game?
Chicago and St. Louis at Wrigley Field. Unbelievable jerseys, both teams, but especially Chicago. Absolutely love these jerseys. Once you find them, you're gonna agree.
Okay.
They're absolutely mint.
Do I call 2025 Winter Classic jersey 2025?
I don't know.
Yes! Oh, both are good.
They're both nice.
Yeah.
But Chicago's?
Honestly, I'm kind of leaning St. Louis.
Really?
I like the simplicity of that.
You know what?
That's a throwback.
You know what? When I first saw it, I kind of thought St. Louis too. But
Yeah,
the more I've looked at them, Chicago's are nasty.
these are good
Yeah,
jerseys. These are, oh my gosh, these are like 250,
beautiful.
$400.
Yeah, well,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
unless I'm gonna go out and buy one.
Sorry, but these are really clean.
Yeah,
These are really clean jerseys.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, go find those two, folks. They're
It's
very
worth a
nice to
look.
look at. Very nice to look at.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you saw the other night. There was a referee who got taken off on a stretcher in the
No,
Colorado game.
really?
It's Tecumseh native, my hometown. Tecumseh native Mitch Dunning was stretchered
What
off.
happened?
He kind of collided with Josh Manson, kind of collided into him, and I believe he fell the way he fell. If you look at it, it doesn't look that bad.
Is it like a lower body injury? Did he hit his head?
I think he kind of fell on his side, so
Maybe
it
like a
could be
hip
like a hip
thing? Because
thing.
they don't wear much
Yeah,
equipment, right?
but yeah, exactly. But they stretchered him off,
Jeez.
and like he had like the full head thing on and everything,
So you might
so
have,
it can't be good, right? So just wishing him well.
yeah. Tecumseh native.
Tecumseh native. Hope he does. Hope he's doing okay,
Yeah,
and hope he gets back soon.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a new segment. We have Team Canada picks. We have non-hockey stuff to talk about. What do we want to go to?
I want to do Team Canada.
Jack's been waiting for Team
I have been
Canada.
itching to go over Team Canada.
All right, I have changed my team a lot, and I actually made last minute changes today.
Do you want to start then?
Whatever.
Okay, I'll
First
start.
line,
I'll start.
first line forward, Team Canada.
First line forward, Team Canada.
Yeah.
I am going full East Coast. I am going at center, Sidney Crosby.
Wow.
You know who I'm putting on his right wing?
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon.
Oh my God.
And on his left wing,
Guns a blazing.
Brad Marchand is
Oh
going
my
to be the
God.
line one left wing.
Brad Marchand line one, eh?
I am going, these guys are going to be speaking a different language to each other. I want full East Coast. I want them to just have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know
Nova
why
Scotia
Marchand's on the
natives.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why Marchand's on the line, but I had to put him there.
Yeah.
I think you know what? Who knows? He offers a little
Fair
bit
enough.
of edge. McKinnon's the physicality and
You,
goal scoring.
you
Crosby's the.
I mean, you told me that your first line's gonna be shocking. I actually don't mind it.
You don't mind
I
it?
don't mind it. I wouldn't personally do it, but I don't hate it.
All right, let's hear yours.
My first line is McDavid at center, Zach Hyman on his wing, left wing, and Wyatt Johnston on his right wing.
Wyatt Johnston.
Here's my thinking. A lot of people probably have guys like Marner on a line with him, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm sure a lot of people probably have Reinhardt up there as well because
Mhm.
of the goal scoring. My thinking is that McDavid is a playmaker, right? He's not really. He's predominantly a playmaker more than a goal scorer.
Correct.
So you want to get a guy who can put the puck in the net on McDavid's line. That's not to say Hyman can't do that, but Hyman's more of a net front guy, right?
Yep.
You want to get a guy outside of that and a guy who's quick enough to keep up. We need to find a guy who's quick enough to keep up with McDavid's pace of play, right?
And Wyatt Johnston does
And
that.
I believe Wyatt Johnson will do that.
Interesting.
And Wyatt Johnson scores big goals when it matters. If you watch the playoffs last year,
Big goals when it matters.
big goals when it matters.
Interesting.
And
I
I'm sure
like
there's
it.
probably people out there who don't even have Wyatt Johnson on their team.
I'm surprised you did McDavid line one
Why?
because it's you.
But just realistically, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't do McDavid. You not doing McDavid line was way more
It's a
shocking.
bigger shock.
Way more shocking.
Part of this is for me just fun.
Yeah. Line two.
McDavid at center.
Yeah.
Hyman at left wing. Marner at right wing.
I just said I don't think it offers
I see
enough
what you're
goal
saying.
scoring punch.
And talking through it is like, I'm like, who can keep up with McDavid? Who's going to get the movement?
Yeah, Marner can keep up.
Marner's going to be and that's why I was like, okay, well, you're going to need someone to get into the corners. You're going to need someone to win those battles out front, and that's Hyman.
Yeah. My second line, McKinnon at center, Marner's on the right wing, and Braden Point on the left wing.
I really like that. I think that's a really strong line.
McKinnon Point kind of do both. Point's a little bit of a goal scorer.
McKinnon's a goal
McKinnon does
scorer.
both. Marner's the
Miner's
playmaker,
gonna feed them.
and
Really, really like the line.
McKinnon will just fucking run people over like he always does.
Yeah. Line 3.
Line 3.
Centering Reinhardt. Point on the right. Lafreniere on the left.
I think you need a stat correction here. Reinhardt's not a center,
I have him at center.
but Braden Point is a center.
Okay, I'm gonna go
So
Point
maybe
at
put
center.
Point at center
I'm gonna give Reinhardt right wing.
and Lafreniere left wing.
Either I messed up making the list or the hockey website that I
Yeah,
went to make
yeah.
these was
I mean,
wrong.
Reinhardt probably can play center, but realistically, I think Braden Point would play center before Reinhardt.
Line 3.
That's your line 3?
They're big, they're physical, they can score goals.
Except, well, Point's not big, but
Point's not big.
yeah. My third line, Sidney Crosby at center, with Travis Konechny and Reinhardt on the wings. That is, they're going to bang.
Yeah.
They're going to be really good defensively, but they're still going to be able to put points on the board.
I love Konechny.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
do. It hurt me because I didn't take him at all.
You didn't take him?
No. Line
Hey,
4.
each your own. Lafreniere. A lot of people have been calling for Lafreniere to get on the team. The tough thing about especially Team Canada and Team USA is to get skill guys who don't have much else to their game into a roster for teams that already have, like, what the number 1 and number 2 power play units are for Team Canada, right?
Yeah.
Number 1 especially.
McKinnon,
like McKinnon, McDavid, McCarr, and Crosby are at least.
That is insane.
Like if they want to stack it, that it'll be those 4 players plus whoever you want to add. Maybe Hyman for net front stuff.
Maybe.
Or Reinhardt for net front stuff. But those 4 guys are automatically at least on one of the power plays, right? Depending on what you want to do.
To use a Phil the Thrill term, that's the nuts.
Yeah.
That, to use some poker terms, that's the nuts, baby.
So if Lafreniere is on the team, I'd imagine he'd probably get second power play time, but he doesn't bring enough intangibles for me that he's gonna be in a depth role. He's not gonna be in the first 2 lines, right?
I think I like Lafreniere, purely because like he can just go up, shoot a shot, and score a goal.
Yeah.
Like he's just.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
He's very independent.
I'm just not there yet.
In that sense.
I'm just not there yet.
I get it.
I know he has played the depth role for the Rangers in the past.
Yeah. And he'll just have these games where he just takes over. Yeah. I think he's matured out a lot. Which he could,
for sure.
He wasn't the hype that everyone said in World Juniors and like getting drafted. Yeah, that's every year. That's just have some guy they're getting behind.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta give guys time.
Yeah. Line 4.
4th line. Let's hear it.
Jonathan Tavares.
Yep.
Makes center for line 4. I'm going to put Scheifele on his left, Stone on his right.
Scheifele makes the cut, eh?
Scheifele makes
the cut. There's a lot of people calling for Scheifele. I'm not hearing a lot of Tavares, which I'm surprised because he's been unreal.
He's been playing so well. Unreal. You talk about a guy who's going to go out there, do his job.
Yeah.
Have a lot of just like, I don't know, he's reliable and he's having a good season. And I know we talked about momentum and not taking too much recency bias into like our selections, but I think he brings maturity. I think he just would fit in with Stone really well. He's a good leader. Yeah.
And if you want a depth power play guy.
And a guy who you give him a job, he's going to go out there and do it. Yep. He just is.
Yep. No, I don't hate it at all. So my 4th line, I have changed a lot.
Okay.
Over today I changed it, but over the past couple of weeks I've changed it a lot. And I just changed this one today because a player just got healthy. And I believe because Doug Armstrong is going to be involved in picking this team. And Robert Thomas is a very good 2-way player.
Yeah, okay.
I have him as my 4th line center. I did before, and then he got hurt. I was kind of on the fence, and I said, okay, maybe we'll go this way. And then he's back now, and I was sitting on the fence today, and I was like, this player, I'm not totally convinced on him having him on the team in a depth role. I'm going Robert Thomas at 4th line center because he can play both ways. He can play the depth role, and he can still produce.
Fair.
Stone is on his right.
Yep.
Leadership, know-how,
You've got
winning.
so much leadership
Yeah.
on this team.
And then just to be a little fucking prick, Sam Bennett is on the wing on the fourth line.
Now, hold on. We have a guy you haven't mentioned
Yep.
yet who's been selected.
Yep. He's the 13th forward.
He's the 13th
Yeah.
forward.
If he wasn't already on the team, I would not have taken him.
I know. I mean,
We
frankly,
talked
me
about it
too.
last week.
Yeah.
Out of the 6 players, I think you knew who I was talking about. It's Brad Marchand. I would not have taken him. Just like I
Interesting.
would not have taken Erik Karlsson for Sweden.
Yeah.
And you would not have taken Charlie McAvoy for Team USA, apparently.
I don't know. What the hell?
I know he's struggled this
What's
year,
it
but
doing? It's doing nothing for me.
Anyway.
D pairings?
Who's your 13th forward?
Bedard.
So that's my guy that I took out today. Bedard was my 13th forward.
Yeah. It's young. Okay, if this is going to be your next stud for Canada, who's young, like get him some experience. Maybe you put him in a game for a little bit.
Yeah.
If someone gets hurt, he's going to get kind of run over a little bit, which is why I wasn't even sure if this is the call to make and whether there was better options. But yeah,
My thinking was, listen, he's so talented. He can put the puck in the net, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much offensive talent on this
Yeah.
team, and he doesn't bring the intangibles as much to the table yet, right?
yeah.
He's still young. He's small. He
It,
scores goals, but there's plenty of that in the lineup, right?
one, who knows who we can maybe get some chemistry with?
Yep. And that's to say, I don't think he would do well. I think you put him on this situation compared to the situation he's in Chicago. Obviously, he's going to play a lot better
Yeah.
with better players around him.
He's still so young.
But he's super young. And my thinking was usually your 13th forward, 7th defenseman is kind of a guy who's quiet. He's not super flashy, but he's going to play a role if you need him to come in and play a role, right? That's usually what the 13th forward is.
Yeah.
Marchand, maybe you put Marchand on the fourth line in my case and make Bennett the 13th forward, whatever you want to do.
I do like the Bennett pick. I don't mind the Bennett
Just
pick.
a piece of shit to play against, right?
Just a scumbag.
Just like Marchand, same thing. But Bennett's a little bigger, probably a little more physical.
Way bigger, I think. Marchand's a little
way
guy.
bigger. Yeah, Marchand's not big, but
Deep pairing, I don't even think we need to say what line one is.
I mean,
it's the same.
I would hope Taze and Makar is your first pairing
because we have two working brain cells.
Yeah, just the chemistry there. Obviously, Makar is stupid. And pairing two,
why split them up? Line two, Morrissey Bouchard.
Morrissey Bouchard, very offensive pairing. This has been a theme. Jack's teams are very offensive.
I want to see goals. Yeah. I want to see absolute rockets from the point.
My second pairing and
it complements line two forwards really well.
Yeah, but they're not always playing together, right?
I get it.
You're going off the basis of there's only 3 deep pairings.
I'm the coach here,
and 4 lines of forwards.
I'm the coach. I'm setting line times.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess if you're the coach of every single team and they're all buzzing around offensively, then everybody's buzzing around offensively, and you don't have to worry about playing defense, right? Whatever you want to do. My second pairing, in keeping with the theme of team chemistry, I know a lot of people aren't going to take. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't take both of these guys, let alone one. But Theodore and Pietrangelo has been consistently one of the best defensive D pairings in the NHL for the past.
Considered it.
Yeah.
Considered it. You want to talk about...
Theodore can move, and he's solid, and Petro is just... He's a vet. He's been there for Canada.
Yeah.
He's probably the only defenseman... Well, I have one other one, but he's the only defenseman that's going to play big minutes that has been there before.
And just great. It's nice to have that leadership on defense. You have a ton of leadership on offense. To have a guy on the bench like that who has been there before, as you said, for Team Canada, and has just been a veteran voice in the league, I think that offers a lot of value.
Yeah. Agreed. Third pairing.
Doughty Dobson.
Now listen. So my third pairing, I have here Morrissey Dobson. Okay? Now, granted, Dobson has struggled a little bit so far this year. A little bit. But I still like him a lot. I think he's a very good defenseman. Drew Doughty is my 7th defenseman. So I would very much consider maybe Dobson and Doughty are rotating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doughty, again, Doughty's a vet. He
Yeah.
gets in the mix.
Yep.
Still at this age. Obviously, the injury,
The
we don't
injury is the
know.
caveat.
We don't know. But if he's healthy, I think he's on the team.
7th.
That's why I have him as my 7th.
I had for 7th, Dougie Hamilton.
Dougie Hamilton?
Just
Yeah.
can do a bunch of different.
Yeah, he's been
roles.
solid this year.
You know, why not?
Yeah, he's been solid. So I didn't take Bouchard.
Yeah. Goaltending.
I just want to touch on Bouchard.
Okay.
Just like Bedard, the reason I'm not taking him here, listen, Bouchard has been very good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the sample size is as big as people think it is with Bouchard.
Last season.
And like the past
season
2 years.
before.
Yeah, the past 2 years. But I don't think it's as large as people think it is. And I playing with Ekholm covers up a lot of defensive
You saw
liability.
You saw it in the Leafs game.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of stuff.
And now that Ekholm isn't playing the greatest and Edmonton's kind of trying to figure out deep pairings, they might separate them a little bit. Bouchard's getting a little exposed a little bit defensively. Terrific offensive defenseman, but again, is anybody on D going to play on the first power play over Cale Makar?
No. Answer's no.
The second pairing, it's kind of a fight. You have guys like Morrissey, you have guys like Theodore, and you have guys like Bouchard. At their best, they're all playing their best. Bouchard's probably the guy.
Even Pietrangelo could be a PP2 defenseman.
Yeah. But at their best, Canada's second power play defenseman should be Bouchard at his best.
Yeah.
The Bouch bomb. But he's not been at his best, and I believe his liability defensively his offensive ability isn't making up enough for him being a defensive liability at this time.
I literally just can't stop thinking about PP1. PP1 is so stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah.
That is so stupid.
I mean, even PP2.
Oh.
Say my PP1 would be Makar, McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, and Hyman. We'll say.
Sure.
My PP2, I'll go Morrissey, Marner, Point, Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And let's say Konechny.
Yeah, that's good. Line 1 the exact same.
Or Johnston instead of Konechny, maybe.
I'm trying to think line 2. Yeah, I think Reinhardt, Marner.
Point for sure. Point in the bumper.
Yeah.
Point is unbelievable in the bumper.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
This is sickening.
Goalies. Let's see what we got here.
I think we're gonna be pretty the same.
I've changed it quite a bit since I first made my team.
Okay, I am doing Bennington and Logan Thompson as my 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Who's your third?
Hill. I think Logan Thompson's having a great year.
Yeah.
And I think it edges out Hill a little bit. And I think Bennington is just. I like what I see with him.
Yep.
He's having a good year. I think he's winning tonight. He's a solid goalie. He's experienced. He's won a cup. Like, high pressure situation. I think that's probably your best bet.
Yeah. So my 1, 2, 3, it's the same 3. I have Hill as the backup and Thompson as the third goalie. Yeah. The only reason I'm saying that, Hill's had injury problems as well, but Thompson has had so many injury problems that it hasn't given him an opportunity to play in the playoffs. Granted, Hill hasn't played a ton in the playoffs, but he was a starting goalie when the Vegas won the cup. Yeah. And Binnington was a starting goalie when St. Louis won the cup.
Yep.
And you're looking at all these Team Canada goalies, and nobody's really coming out of the pack, right? So that's where you kind of look at it. Who's got the pedigree? Who's got the big game stuff? And those 2 goalies have cups, especially. And Binnington's definitely got the big game stuff, right? Yeah. And Thompson.
Get the psychopath.
Thompson's been the best Canadian goalie in the NHL. Like, just based on just this year's play, Thompson's been the best one.
Yeah.
So I think he gets a shout on the team. Yeah.
Who else would you have gone with if Thompson wasn't here?
Honestly, I have my backups here. My fourth goalie is Cam Talbot.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Cam Talbot's been really good this year.
I don't even know who I would have gone with. Like,
And Montembeault kind of fell off. Ingram struggled.
I was thinking Ingram, but it's just
Skinner
not been there.
struggled.
Yep. I'm never taking.
Jari's
I
horrible.
don't trust Stuart Skinner to hold a Subway
Yeah,
sandwich. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So yeah, I would Talbot's been really good, and he's a vet. I believe he could handle it. And just your fourth goalie's not going to
He's
play.
never
He's never
playing.
going to play. You're just calling him
There's
here.
been a travesty
Come
if
to
he
Montreal.
is.
Come to Boston. Put a suit on and sit up in the press box, right?
Yeah.
And then if something happens, maybe he's the backup. Like very, very unlikely that he's going to go play, right?
He's gonna go
But
party.
not the worst guy to have in the room too.
Yeah.
That's a guy with vet experience. He's a
Yep.
vet. He's tons of experience. A good guy to have in the room.
He has he won a cup, Talbot? I
I
don't
don't think
think
so.
he
I don't
has.
think so.
Okay.
I have a couple backups, obviously. Outside of that, too, my forward backups are Tavares is my forward backup. I did have Tavares on my team for a little bit, but I just listen. Yes, you want to win this tournament, but this tournament is more of a pre-thing for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Do I realistically think Tavares is going to go to the next Olympics? Probably not.
It's a stretch.
Probably not, right? And it's kind of a stepping stone for that. And Thomas is young,
So
and
you're viewing this as better
yeah,
experience.
yeah, right. And then obviously Bedard and Barzal are in the mix as well.
Yeah. Barzal injured right now.
Barzal's hurt right
Should be
now.
back.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back before that
Yeah.
tournament starts. Um, I did have Barzal on the team.
A lot of people do. This season's been so tough.
Yeah, I had Barzal on the team over Marner. And I kind of saw in Barzal, and I was kind of thinking, okay, Barzal's not really getting it done.
Yeah.
Marner's playing well. We'll swap them.
Yeah.
And there's enough talent on around Team Canada that can make up for Marner, right? Marner's deficiencies.
Sure.
You can keep his offensive talent, but still you can make up for other stuff because there's so much talent on the team. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thinking would be that if it's kind of a depth guy that gets hurt, you probably bring Tavares in. If it's more of a skill guy, you go Barzal or Bedard, right?
Yeah.
And then on D, Bouchard's my first guy up on D. And then my second guy up is actually Thomas Harley. I don't think he gets enough recognition. I think he's been very good in Dallas over the past year and a little bit. And I think he's very solid. And I think be a good addition. And he's a young guy. Get him a little bit of experience. Get him in the room a little bit.
Yeah,
Because
experience is
like Doughty's
crucial.
not going to be around forever. Petro's not going to be around forever. Even if those two guys play at next year's Olympics, if you're playing at the NHL's playing at the next Olympics after that, those guys aren't going to be
Well,
there.
and it may be one of them's playing
Yeah.
at the next Olympics, maybe not
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
You know,
I could see both of them not even playing.
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
could.
that's my thinking. Do you have any backups?
This is pretty much the extent that I
Yeah.
went with.
So they're announcing rosters December 4th.
So we have what, a week?
So like it's the 21st, so a little over a week.
A week and a half.
Yeah. And we will see what the rosters.
I'm so curious.
I believe they're doing two separate shows. There's Sweden Finland comes out at 2:00, so that it's prime
They're
time.
seriously okay.
So that's prime time for the people in Sweden and Finland.
Okay, that's kind of
and then the 7:00 for Canada and US, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
December
4th is a Wednesday. So 2 weeks.
Washington
2 weeks
just
from
lost.
yesterday. Pardon?
Washington just lost.
Did they?
Logan Thompson in net.
There
Losing
you
to
go.
Colorado.
Okay. So, new segment, or do we want to talk non-hockey stuff first?
Let's do non-hockey stuff.
Okay, non-hockey stuff. The big stuff over the weekend was the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. It was an absolute dud, garbage, waste of time. Thank God it wasn't on pay-per-view and nobody had to pay for it unless you, if you purposely went out and bought Netflix for this, but most people already have Netflix, right? You're more of the fighting guy. I know you're more UFC than boxing, but you know a lot more than I do. The only thing that I want to talk about is Mike Tyson getting naked on TV.
What do you want to talk about with it?
Just your thoughts on the fight.
I don't know. It was just like, why is this happening? No one really wants to see this. It was a lose-lose for Jake Paul. I don't know if Mike needs a payday. I love Mike Tyson. I mean, talk about just a flashing star. I don't know why he's doing this at 58. It wasn't good boxing.
It was
It
horrible.
was a horrible fight. It was just a bad overall experience. Netflix, the buffering was brutal. Um, there was no substance to it. There was no real reason. You're not viewing this and being like, oh, Mike's actually like, putting on a little bit of a show. Like they're
Yeah.
actually like having a bit of a decent boxing exhibition here. The women's fight beforehand was 10 times the
Oh, it was
fight.
way better.
And
Way
so it's
better.
just like, why why do we it's more speaks to like culture, I think, where it's just like, why do we want to see this?
It's
Why
it's
are
bait.
what yeah.
Yeah, it's clout.
It's everyone
It's
is
for
tuning in
clout.
to be like, maybe this time.
Yeah.
Boxed
Yeah.
Mr. Fury last time and got beat. Like he's only going after people who he knows he can outbox, but the other side who loves to hate him wants to see him get knocked out
Yeah.
by that person. And people want to tune in. I'm tuning in. I hate it. I
Yeah.
tune in.
I tuned in and I don't watch any of that. But
If
I
they
watch that.
Yeah. I think that like, I don't know, any avenue to get more viewership for sports on streaming platforms I think is
Yeah.
good. But if they I mean, I've really enjoyed Amazon Prime doing hockey on Monday nights in
hmm
Canada.
Amazon's done a good job on Monday Night Hockey and a good job on Thursday Night Football. No issues. And Netflix, everything. Netflix has NFL games on Christmas Day this year,
If if
and
if
the live events have been bad.
if there's any way that I never have to deal with Bell or Rogers, I will absolutely pay money for that. I'll what streaming platform do I need to get to watch my hockey?
Yeah.
Amazon. Buy the NHL. I
Yeah.
don't know. Just make it so that I don't have to deal with Sportsnet. No offense, Sportsnet, unless you want to sponsor us.
Yeah.
But it's like it's so expensive to do Sportsnet. It
It is.
doesn't get
Yeah.
you all the games from my understanding.
Oh, you can.
Is there
There's a
blackout?
package. There's a
Okay.
package. Yeah.
When I looked, how much was it a month?
I don't know off the top of my head,
But it's
but
like to pay that amount of money, because I think it's like, I don't know, 250, $300 for the year.
yeah. So you have like your normal package where it's just like you're just getting the regular Sportsnet channels. So your Ontario East West
Yeah.
whatever, and then there's Sportsnet One whatever.
I looked at it for this year and I'm just like, I'm not paying this
Yeah.
because I'm only gonna watch hockey on it.
Yeah. But you can get a special package where you get access to all games. Like you'll get the American feed to games even when they're not playing Canadian teams, right?
If I can have that with Amazon Prime
Yeah.
or maybe like a small premium,
Yeah.
give
I
me
believe
the
that the TV deal is maybe not this summer, but the following summer, something like that.
okay.
So we'll see.
Anyway,
We'll see what happens.
to get back to the point, what did I think about it? It was a pile of dog,
Yeah.
and
It was
I'm
brutal.
probably gonna tune into the next one
Yeah.
too.
There was a couple like in the first round, I was like, oh, Tyson's kind of
He came
throwing a
at
little
the
bit.
first 40 seconds
Yeah.
was like,
He's throwing
oh,
a little
he
bit.
landed a
He's
leg.
throwing a little bit. But you watch him every time he gets hit, he couldn't even move. Like watch his legs. They just
Yeah.
sat still. Like they didn't move.
There's no movement. It wasn't a
Yeah.
fight.
It was
You're a
stupid.
50-year-old man,
And then every
58.
time you hear the bell for 10 seconds left, they would just like stand there and square off. They didn't even try and hit each other. The end of the fight, they're fucking Paul's bowing and Tyson's not even doing anything. Like fucking Mike Tyson, if you did that to old school Mike Tyson, he'd fucking knock your head off.
Yeah. I don't know.
But just love the pre game. What did he say? Uh they asked him what's your prediction for tonight or something, and he said
No, I didn't watch the pre
like
stuff.
pain or something like that. Something like that in like a super mean voice.
And I know, like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Mike
And then
Tyson like
turned
slapped
around
him.
and then we saw his ass hanging out on national TV. It's the old school hockey jock strap.
The man's at an airport in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Why are we asking him to do
Yeah.
this? Mike, you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Yeah.
I know you had the health stuff back in the summer, and you're like, I want to prove it to myself. Please don't prove anything else.
Yeah.
You're beloved. you're a chill guy now.
Yeah,
You don't need to do this.
maybe he's in a little bit of debt. I just got an update on my phone. The golf, the match is tonight and tomorrow.
Is
And
it really?
and Gretzky won his
I was gonna say
match
this is
today.
Gretzky and who?
There's like it's like a whole tournament. Like there's a shit ton of people. There's like eight,
There's a
nine, 10
hole in one
guys.
competition, is
Is
there
there?
not?
Yeah, I don't know. Gretzky's in there. I think Brady's in there.
Probably like Steph Curry in there or something.
Something like
He's a
that.
golfer.
Yeah.
He's gotten a hole in one.
Yeah. Although it's middle of basketball season, so I don't
True.
think he's in there. I believe didn't Curry do it before?
I know I've seen him shoot a hole in one, so
Yeah,
in
I
front of
believe
a
he's
crowd.
done the match before. Let's see who's in it. Michael Phelps might be in it. Bill Murray's in it. Charles Barkley's in it.
Bill Murray's in it.
Yeah, the match. I believe Mark Wahlberg's in it. Uh, let's see. So we got Charles Barkley, Ken Griffey Jr., Wayne Gretzky, Bill Murray, Michael Phelps, Mark Wahlberg, Nate
Wahlberg.
Bargatze, Blake Griffin, and those are the teams. So you face off, and I thought there was more than that. I guess Brady's done it before. He wasn't in this one, but yeah, Wayno gets it done. Come on, Wayno. Wayne and Bill Murray is a squad.
That's a vibe. I'd love to get on a
Yeah,
golf cart with
that'd be
them.
unreal.
Um,
But yeah, yeah, it was a joke.
yeah.
And then I know your boy John Jones won Saturday night in the UFC.
John Jones got to beat up a 43-year-old Stipe Miocic. Who's surprised?
Why is there such a thing in fighting sports about just like old dudes coming back? Why is it a thing?
I don't
Like it's not like this in other sports. And the
So-
other sports you should be able to do it because you're not getting your fucking face punched in.
I'm pretty sure it's been 3-4 years since Stipe lost. When he did, he got absolutely ragdolled and flatlined. He was a folding chair at the end of the fight. And don't get me wrong, Stipe, one of the greatest heavyweights, if not the greatest heavyweight of all time. Why are you doing this? The rumor was like he did a 24-hour shift at the fire hall 2 weeks before. Was the money that good, man? And then you have Tom Aspinall, who had the interim belt, the stupidest thing to ever exist, the interim belt. And John refused to fight him. He's still kind of refusing to fight him, being like, oh, you got a guy who's 7 years younger than me and 30 pounds heavier. And it's like, you mean you fought DC, you were 4 years younger. What are you talking about? Like, it's just the most cowardice. And I hecking hate John Jones. You are a terrible human being. I
What
hope
did
you
John
know
Jones do?
he's beaten his wife in
Oh
front of
really?
his
Oh,
children.
I didn't know
He
this.
hit a woman drunk who was pregnant with his car and then fled the scene while
Jesus.
he's drunk and high. He notoriously
Great
got
guy.
blackout before fights all the time. He's been popped for steroids like 4 times. He is a horrible human being, and I hope some of the worst things on the planet happen to you because you are just that bad. Anyway, as a fighter, when you're maybe on steroids or maybe not, yeah, you're extremely talented. Why are you such a coward, though? Genuinely. And I'm not saying hunt me down and beat me up. What I'm saying is you had a contender. You have this belt and you're coming back to beat an old man and you're doing all this deflection on Tom Aspinall, refusing to do interviews with English reporters. Like, just grow up. Yeah, I still think I'm not mad at the idea of him fighting Pereira, which is what he's kind of floated because he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall because he knows what would happen. Um, and I think Pereira, that'd be a fun fight. Don't get me wrong. And I get what John's saying when it's like, this does nothing for me and everything for him. He needs me, the negotiating position side of things. And I think the Pereira fight would be exciting. I just want to see the shit kicked out of me. So that's where I'm coming
That
from.
was a long one.
Yeah.
That was a long one.
That was a long.
Sorry for the people who don't watch UFC.
Skip the last minute and a
Yeah.
half.
Sorry for that.
Sorry, folks.
But yeah, I don't know much about the inner workings of boxing and UFC, but
Boxing's weird.
boxing's
UFC is
strange.
easier to watch, I think, as a consumer and like understand who's winning, who's losing.
I did love the Mayweather McGregor fight. I know it was a massive gimmick, but it was actually fun.
It was a fun
Yeah, it was fun.
crossover, and
At
like
least like McGregor, like Mayweather wasn't that old, and like McGregor is still he's not a boxer, but he's in the he was in the prime.
it was a fun
Yeah,
crossover to be like the greatest
yeah,
defensive boxer ever versus this UFC guy who's just entertaining.
yeah,
Both have the personality to make a super
yeah.
fight like that.
Just cool to see. Whereas
Yeah,
just listen, if you're over the age of like 45, like what are you doing?
yeah.
Like Mike, just go do another Hangover movie and call it a day. All
Yeah.
right.
You want to see a complete meltdown? Go watch John Joe slam his head into a police car hood while he's getting arrested, blackout drunk. That's John Jones in a nutshell.
Tough luck.
Tough luck.
Quick shout out. We talk about them, not a ton, but just that we've touched on them a little bit. The Detroit Lions keep putting their foot on people's throats
Yeah,
and not taking their foot off the gas pedal. Go Lions.
I'm kind of
We're
marginally.
coming for you, Mahomes.
I've been watching football,
We're
and I
coming
never
for you.
watched football.
Did you watch the Grey Cup?
I watched I think 10 minutes.
Congrats to the Toronto Argonauts. I don't watch the CFL. I
No.
watched a little bit.
From my understanding,
I
the
watched the
Argos
Jonas
QB.
brothers a little bit.
Did you really?
Until halftime, it was on in the background.
The Argos QB, I believe, got hurt.
Yeah, he broke his leg or something.
And
Broke
so
his
was
ankle
this
last
was
week.
a rookie coming in?
Backup QB
That's awesome.
came in and win the Grey Cup. Apparently, the Winnipeg QB, starting QB, was Jason Kelsey's roommate in college.
Rather be Jason Kelsey.
Well, yeah, but just cool.
That's funny.
Cool to see. But yeah, so we got a new segment.
We have a new segment.
We'll let Jack take it away here.
So what would be fun for me to do with Drew that would just kind of use Drew's skill set and kind of make fun of the NHL and some obscurities in it and go down some rabbit holes. And we thought, ask AI. Who wants to be a millionaire? On one question, AI generated obscure NHL trivia for Drew to answer, and he gets 3 hints if he asks for them. It can be yes no hints, so it can be a yes no question. And then we verify because we tested this.
Oh, it was brutal.
We tested this
Jack,
over the weekend.
So the question was, so Jack sent this to me, and then he used it an example, and he said, "Who's the first player? Was it the first player to score a penalty shot in the Stanley Cup final?"
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like going way back, and I actually do remember that when the actual answer happened. I actually do remember it, and they talked about it, but it was a while ago. But I didn't think of that at the time. I was kind of thinking
And the
like
player surprised me.
yeah, and so I right away said like it's got to be like something like in the 30s or something, right?
Yeah.
And Jack said warmer. And honestly, when he first said warmer, I think I was at work, so I was kind of like I read the message, but I didn't really read the message, and I read warmer as like the person's name was Warmer.
Oh,
And I was
really?
like, who the fuck is Warmer?
No, hot and cold.
Yeah, I know what you meant after. But then I don't know how I responded, but anyway, you meant warmer, meaning it was in the 30s, and then you said it was Scotty Bowman in the 1939 Stanley Cup Final.
AI was like, it was game 2. He was playing for Detroit, and the finals or in game 2 against the Leafs.
I saw that, and I was kind of like, I didn't clue in right away, but I kind of thought it was a little sketchy. And then I was at home from work, and I was looking at it after, and I was like, Scotty Bowman's still alive right now. So if he played in the Stanley Cup Final in 1939, he would have to be like over 100 years old right now, like pushing 110.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and he's like 91, so he's born in 1933. So I was like, I don't think Scotty Bowman played in the Stanley Cup Final when he was 6.
Maybe it was like an intermission.
Did Scotty Bowman play in the NHL? I don't even know if Scotty Bowman played in the NHL.
So we fact checked this, and it was incorrect.
Very incorrect. It was Chris Pronger for the Edmonton Oilers in the 2006 Stanley Cup Final.
Pronger.
And I remember that. I remember it happening.
Do you really?
I remember this. But it was 18 years ago. So,
Yeah.
did Scotty Bowman play in the NHL?
Let's see here.
Like, I need to know. I didn't think Scotty Bowman played in the NHL.
Play in the NHL. Severe head injury in junior hockey ended his playing career.
Severe head injury in the 50s. The guy must have fucking taken a stick to him. Let's check out Scotty Bowman's hockey DB. I mean, the best coach of all time, but, I knew he didn't. So, AI. Fucking figure it out,
AI.
AI.
AI, you're not as good as everyone told me you
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, he played in the QPJHL for the Montreal Junior Canadiens and the Montreal Junior Royals.
So here was the prompt. I said, what is an obscure hockey trivia question? The response, who was the first NHL player to score a goal on a penalty shot in the Stanley Cup final? Returned Ralph Scotty Bowman, not the coach, but a player for the Detroit Red Wings, scored the first ever penalty shot in a Stanley Cup final during Game 2 of the 1939 finals against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So let's go. Let's do a little research here.
First ever penalty shot.
Goal. We're here. We'll even go into Ralph Bowman. Did this man play?
It says the first successful penalty shot in Cup final history occurred in Game 1 of the 2006 final between Edmonton and Carolina. Chris Pronger.
No, was that in a finals or was that in a Stanley Cup winning game?
No, Game 1 of the
Game 1.
Game 1 of the finals.
So there is a Ralph Scotty Bowman born June 20th, 1911 in Winnipeg.
That is the first penalty shot goal, not the first penalty shot goal in the Stanley Cup final.
Okay.
So the question from AI was worded incorrectly.
Stanley Cup final. Okay. There you go. Okay, so he scored the first penalty shot in the NHL.
In NHL history, not the Stanley Cup final.
See? Still
So-
not right though.
But it's still the way the question was worded, it wasn't right.
So
Okay.
we'll answer this and then I will also tell you whether this has been fact checked or not.
Okay, so my phone's over here.
Yeah.
I'm not cheating. What's the question?
Drew. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. What's the fastest hat trick in NHL history? Player and time estimate, please.
Meaning, how much time it took them in the game.
And what
Hat trick.
I'll say this: we can split it into two. If you want to find the player with those hints, and then treat the
So
second.
3 hints for each part of it.
Yeah, treat the second part
I
of
mean,
the
the
question
time is not.
differently.
I don't really need hints for the time. It's just going to be a complete guess, right?
Okay.
Hat trick. It can't be under a minute. It has to be over a minute. And it has to be yes or no questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Fastest hat trick in NHL history. Was this post 05 lockout?
No.
No. Okay, so pre-lockout, which is kind of what I was thinking. How many guesses do I get?
I think we'll leave that up to you. Maybe 4 wrong guesses. So we have a time
So I
limit.
get-
Otherwise, you're just guessing all
Yeah.
night.
Well, we can just do 3.
Okay.
Do 3 hints and 3 guesses.
Dun, 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 dun. Na, 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 na.
Did this take place in the 80s?
No.
Was this pre-NHL expansion, so original 6?
What year did that happen?
60, I believe the last time at least won the cup was the last original 6 years, so 67
This was pre.
that. So original 6.
Narrowing it down. I like this.
All right. That was my 3 questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got 3 guesses. We're gonna go up first. We're gonna go obvious. I'm gonna say Rocket Richard.
Who's not Rocket
It
Richard?
was not Rocket Richard.
He does not hold this.
Did you fact check this for
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah. Does not hold this record.
Okay. Is this like a well-known person?
I didn't know him, but you might. I can Google the name and get you more context.
It helps me a little bit because your hockey knowledge pre-lockout isn't totally there. So if the guy was like super obvious, you'd probably know him. But
Yeah.
Stan Mikita.
It was not Stan Mikita.
Do you know who Stan Mikita is?
No.
Okay, there you go. That tells you everything you need to know, folks. All right, one more player guess. I've already used my questions, right?
We'll give you one more.
Give me one more.
One more question, and it doesn't have to be yes, no. Yeah, that's what we'll do. 3 yes, no, and 1 generic.
Well, my question is yes, no anyway.
Okay.
Did this player play for a Canadian team?
No.
Okay.
Like ever or during this?
When it happened?
No.
Okay. Let's try. Was it Ted Lindsay?
Good guess. It was not Ted Lindsay.
Okay. So I'm out of guesses for that. Well, guess the time.
Sure. And same thing, you get some questions. I'll give you a hint.
Okay,
It's
give me a
less
hint.
than a minute.
It was less than a
It
minute.
was less than a
That's
minute.
crazy.
This is in
I guess it was that. If it was that long ago, then yeah, possibly.
1952 when it happened.
1952, eh? Well, that's fucking way
This
big throwback.
isn't it. I don't even know how this is possible. We might like there's no video of it, so I don't know how we'd look it up, but
27 seconds.
lower.
Lower than 27.
Lower.
That's fucked.
Right? You can't take a friggin' face off.
22 seconds.
Very warm. Lower.
21 seconds.
21 seconds.
21 seconds.
It took
52, you said? Give me one more guess.
Okay. I'll even tee it up. It was a Chicago player.
Okay. 52, Chicago.
52 Chicago.
That's going to be tough.
15 years with Chicago. This is why I was like, I don't know if this guy was like well known, and I just don't know who he is.
15 years with Chicago, but 1952, that's tough. I'm probably not going to get this. It's before Makita. It's before Hall. I know Glenn Hall, the goalie. Chicago wasn't really any good at this time. So just tell me. I don't know.
Bill Mosienko?
Nah, no chance.
No idea who this guy is.
No chance.
But in 1952, March 23rd, against the New York Rangers, scored hat trick in 21 seconds, a record which still holds
That's
today.
crazy.
And this has been fact checked. This is kind of what he's.
Now listen, this is my point.
This is
savant stuff. That's like I'm never gonna get that. That's preposterous.
From Wikipedia, it's saying this is what he's known for.
Yeah.
Like this is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what happened in there.
You'll see a lot more of this. We'll have full quizzes as separate. It won't be part of the pod. It'll be separate from the pod. But it's going to be a little bit of a while for that rollout. because we're not going to be in the same place for the month of December because Jack has decided to go home.
I'm visiting my family.
So we still have weekly pod rollouts.
Yeah,
We won't be in the same room, but
we'll record it on
the quizzes, we'll see.
Yeah, we can pump a lot of those out.
We can pump. Maybe you're coming back after Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So after Christmas, I'll probably have the week off. We can pump a couple out.
Okay.
So maybe look for it end of the year, maybe in the new year.
Yeah.
The quizzes, but we'll have this segment every week. AI, ask AI.
Ask AI. That's wild.
Maybe we find some that aren't that difficult,
not that obscure.
Yeah,
we'll play around and get something. And be
make
like,
it a
okay,
make it so I can actually somewhat guess
something from 1952.
Like if it's from 1952, but like make it like a relevant player or it's like a team thing or something, right?
Okay.
This is the Stone Age.
See what we're refining. We're refining the process. We're refining the segments. We have video.
We have video.
We have dual audio.
Hopefully the audio is better today.
We're gonna see because we didn't really test this.
No, we didn't test it. We just gave her.
But we seem to be recording. So, anything else?
I think that's it. We've been pretty long today. We had a lot to dive into.
So. A lot to get through. It's late. We got work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So guys, go puck yourself.
We're going to Toronto this weekend. We're both going to Toronto, but separately.
Different reasons.
Santa Claus parade. Neither one is for the Leafs, though. Unfortunately.
No. Not this time. Yeah. Santa Claus parade on Sunday, and you're doing some entertainment, and I'm there for entertainment and work.
Yep. I'll be back home Sunday. You will be back home Wednesday.
So, guys, until next time, go puck yourself and like and subscribe and tell us what you think. Please engage with us. It really helps the algorithm, from what I've heard. Everyone says it does.
Yeah. Follow us on socials.
Follow us on social at Puck Yourself Podcast. Or is it Puck Yourself on most
Twitter,
platforms?
I believe, is at Puck underscore yourself underscore.
Give us a follow, guys. We are planning on expanding some social stuff, tweeting some funny stuff, getting a live reactions during the games. Like, we're really looking to kind of grow this thing. So, let us know your